Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the final class, class 7 of the Painter's Palette, Light, Shadow, and Color. This has been a lot of fun. I feel like I've learned a lot, so I hope you guys have too. It's been really fun just seeing everybody's just different ideas and different ways of tackling the homework each week and the projects. And this week is kind of a bit of a review in that we're going to be looking at your final projects for those of you that were able to get to it or had time. And this is our opportunity to pick a couple of the lessons that we learned and really kind of focus in or see how you want to incorporate that into your own paintings moving forward. Again, I like to say that, I'm going to give you guys like 10 lessons in a class, right? In a 7-week session. And it's up to you to choose one or two of those. If you take all of those 10, it's too much. You can't, it's almost incomprehensible. And so it's better to choose a couple that are just right, where the next thing you're interested in or the next step in your evolution as an artist. So this is our kind of our opportunity to go through and see what you guys are incorporating and how you're challenging yourselves. It's also our opportunity to start to design the next 7 weeks a little bit. So I will grab my notepad here, be bold, and and I'll be writing some notes of things that you guys would really like to continue on with beyond the lessons that I already have planned. So shall we jump over to our Padlet and see what you guys have been up to?
Yeah.
Sure.
Perfect. All right, says participants can now see my screen. Do you guys see the big Padlet, the green
Yes.
background?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. And it says there's more students than I can see, so I'm guessing that Jada's hiding and Lisa's hiding and a couple others. But again, I'm just glad you guys are here, and feel free to finish your breakfast or lunch, Jada. And Lisa, will hope to see you when you're available. All right, so we've got class videos here from last week. There's the birthday girl. All right. Yeah, I guess Padlet knew or YouTube knew. It picked you as the screensaver there for it, or the thumbnail.
So weird. But thank you, Padlet.
There you go.
And
At
the
least you're
cat
smiling.
still doesn't have a face. Yeah, true. That's the only face you need to see.
There
That's
you go.
all it is.
Perfect. All right, artist inspirations. I just did a quick note here. This was actually from an email that I was sent about basically another artist's top 7 things that they think about when they're painting. And I thought it was really interesting how much it mimics exactly what we did last semester and this semester. So I'll just quickly read through their top 7 and see what you guys think here. And this is an old painting. It's one of my very first plein air classes I ever did. And this is another location I can actually take us if we ever decide to do a vineyard painting plein air here in Oregon. And really beautiful view looking west towards the coast here. But design gives clarity, right? And we talk about that always as one of the top things is design. And one of my favorite things to remind myself, both in my painting, because I don't practice it like I should, is it's almost impossible to paint your way out of bad design. It is worth doing those thumbnail sketches. It is worth, editing your photos, whatever way you go about approaching your image. But every one of us knows this, right? It's like stubbing your toe on the same table in your house over and over and over, right? You're just like, I know that's there. Stop, stop kicking it. And it is so important that, design first. Think of that. I kind of think of that as the left side of the brain, the more academic side a lot of the time. story gives meaning. So that was all what the last semester was about, was, how do we create story and idea in our paintings? And I come from an illustration background. That was my job right out of college. That's what I studied in college. I went into animation, which was all about story as well. And it's been such an interesting thing for me to kind of become a landscape painter primarily, but really be thinking about the story. And it's not like a full narrative, right? It's not this happens, then that happens, then this happens, but it's, what are the elements of story, mood, atmosphere, the time of year, time of day, all these things that we can help tell in our paintings. Freshness gives life. So that's kind of a new one for me, but I think we can use our brushwork for that, our colors for that. Um, for me, sometimes it's about just changing my angle. That could be just, tilting up or tilting down. A lot of my photos recently from our hikes, because it's wet and muddy, have been looking into the mud puddles that are reflecting the forest, down back and stuff like that. I haven't painted any of them, but I've found it really interesting. And it's funny, when we're hiking with our dog and a group of people, I'll be like, stop, 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 because I don't want anybody to disrupt the mud puddle before, I get a chance to photograph it. And they all think I'm weird, but they already did, so it's fine. Values do the heavy lifting. So I would have put this as my number 2, right? It would be design gives clarity, and then values do the heavy lifting. You guys have heard me say a lot that values do all the work, colors get all the credit. The thing I like to reiterate to my students is that very, very rarely, unless it's a true tonalist piece, does anybody give me credit for my values in my paintings. They all say they're buying the painting for the pretty colors. And I get that 100%. I understand that. But those pretty colors don't have anywhere to live if I don't have my values established. And when we do a good design and establish good values, we can go buck wild with our colors and really have a lot of fun, and people will believe it. Graham is a really good example of this in his paintings. He's got the most beautiful colors and interesting, combinations of colors, but his design is sound and he's got these big forms and big shapes. Edges and line control attention, right? So you can see even in this little demo here that I did that just these couple hard edges really lead the viewer and that we are attracted to. So line isn't always just a line like this little trail here. A lot of times line is where lights and darks meet. So you can think of it like that. A lot of times too, you don't need solid lines, again, like this trail. Broken lines that just begin to tell us how this hill is rolling, or even more subtly further back. Sorry, I can't zoom in. But line can be created in a lot of ways, and you don't have to be a firm, it doesn't have to be like a black marker line, right? It can be broken. And then edges, of course, I like to use soft edges. Again, if we look over here, we've got the soft edges in the background, crisper edges as we come forward. Color temperature sells the light. That's a good example over here, where we have the warm light and the cool fog and the purples and the shadows. And then presentation closes the deal. That would be more like the framing, just really finishing that painting up. That's been my problem lately, is I have so many paintings that I haven't framed, I haven't painted the edges. So that's my next step, is to get them gallery ready, right? And a lot of times I don't even think the painting's fully done. And then I throw a frame on there and it's just like, oh, good. No, do not overwork this, right? The frame really helps, or just painting the edges black in my case, or white, or whatever you're doing, just that cleanup at the end. A lot of times too, that can just mean how I present the back of the painting, writing the name of the painting. If you're working on canvas, here's a good note for you guys. If you're working on canvas, I strongly suggest you do not use a permanent marker on the back. I work on panel mostly, so I can write with a permanent marker on the back, but a permanent marker, like a black Sharpie pen, does sometimes, especially if you're painting thinly, have a way of bleeding slowly through that canvas and eventually gesso and then into the painting. Yeah, it can take a while, like a year or two, but you want to be a little bit aware that that can happen unless you've added a lot of layers of gesso or whatever else. But anybody else have? So like on my presentation, I actually glue a business card to the back. I have an envelope that I have 3 different printouts that I put of how to take care of the painting, how to contact me if anything happens to the painting. Um, Sometimes I don't have time to varnish the painting before I send it to the show. So I'll actually add a note that says, you know, in 6 months after owning this, come back to me and I'll varnish this painting for free. And that's just a little secret because it gets them into my studio where they have to look at all the other artwork, and also makes me clean the house because they're going to come over and
No, they make a big difference.
presentation, there's so many different ways to present your paintings, but it really hurts my feelings when I see a nearly really good painting in a show and the edges are messy or it's just, do that extra little bit. It really, really helps.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Online links. Here's a link to the class for those of you who are just having a little bit of an issue. If you're still having an issue, just reach out to me. Let me know, and I can contact the school and find out. Again, they are in the process of transitioning to a new sign-up method. And I don't know if both are effective right now and, that'll still work. Class handout, I saw mine Jay commented on this. This was what we talked about last week about theme idea, design, composition, and all that. Mine Jay wrote, such an important start for a painting. I often forget this. We all do, mine Jay. You are not alone. It is literally like, even before design, composition, and value distribution and structure is, why am I painting this? Why have I chose this image? And today's demo is a really good example of that, where I was a little bit confused and so was the client, right? They kind of changed their mind a couple of times. They sent me a lot of photos of completely different times a year, different angles, different designs. So we really worked it out. I did a lot of collage work and changing them to black and white just to really focus on the design. And then the sky was the last thing that I've done. That was all yesterday, where I finally came up with a good idea. I really like it, of the sky. And we'll talk about that when we go to it. So anybody have any questions on this?
Nope.
Did anybody use this for their final project, or at least consider it?
Definitely.
All right, good. Gold star for you. I will tell you, I skip this as often as I use it. And every time I use it, it is so much better. It's like doing the thumbnail sketches, right? I'm so ADHD. I'm so excited. I am literally that golden retriever or yellow lab or whatever it is in the movie Up. Ooh, squirrel. And I just get so excited by the shiny object. And I just think that every idea is so good right as it's coming out of my head. And it's generally not, as the 30, 40 unfinished paintings will tell you in my studio. And doing this, walking through this and kind of coming down, and it doesn't mean you're stuck. It doesn't mean you have to follow this all the way through. Bob Ross, the happy accidents, right? And I welcome that. I talk a lot about the idea of having a conversation with the painting and with the paint, right? I want there to be an ongoing conversation. I'd be so bored painting if I just knew exactly what was going to happen and what I was going to do every time. I really like that give and take. I think I'd be far more successful, at least at finishing paintings, if I really, really knew. But having a really, let's say 70%, 80% of a really good idea, and then leaving the opportunity for surprise, right? Because there's times when you're just mixing colors on your palette, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh my gosh, this fuchsia I just accidentally made changes everything because I want to use this. And sometimes I'll just pull the painting off the easel and throw that color onto another painting that's been sitting sadly forgotten for a while. So it's fun to have those other paintings. All right, another Mind J comment here. Mind J says, I received a lot of cotton canvases, good quality, but I prefer to work on boards. I tried to gesso and sand them to get a somewhat smooth surface. Any tricks to getting this done sufficient? And by sufficient, do you mean quickly or just getting it so that you have gotten rid of that canvas texture? Both.
Both.
So,
And
yeah, absolutely. So what I wrote, and can you guys hear me okay, or do I need to attach this to my beard here?
I hear you.
Is that better?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, so weird.
It is.
I'm going to become known as the guy who hangs a microphone off his beard more than the.
You'll have
Um,
to add it to your portrait. You know, you've got that portrait of yourself with all the used bits of paint. You'll
There
have
you
to
go,
add the
there you go.
microphone.
That's fun. I'm actually starting the next one of that. I was going to do a portrait of David Lynch, the movie director,
Yeah.
and he has such fantastic hair, and he passed away last year.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be really fun. I don't love a lot of his movies, but I love his philosophy, and I really enjoyed interviews with him and his music too. He actually did music with some of my favorite musicians. He has a really great album out called Rome.
He has a pretty good
He's,
book out too.
Yeah, and he did a lot about meditation. And anyways, interesting fellow. So I thought that would be fun, and I thought he wouldn't mind even if he was alive. I thought he would think it was fun. So the one thing I wrote, Mind Jay, was to speed things up. I use a paint roller. So I will lay out a whole bunch of them, like sometimes 15, 20 panels, depending on how big they are, on flat surfaces. And I literally just use one of those little disposable paint trays, like you'd use to paint a house, and little 4-inch foam rollers. I like the foam. The cotton ones are great too, but they will make more texture and are much harder to clean up. The foam roller, what I will often do is roll out a bunch of them and then kind of squeeze out a bunch of the gesso, and then I'll go and roll them one more time. And that allows me to kind of push down the little bits of edges that get picked up when you're using a roller, and about 2 to 3 times. So that's why I like to do a bunch of them. Is I'll be working on a painting on my easel, and every about 2 to 3 hours, I can revisit and roll out another layer of gesso to check to make sure. I mean, in truth, you should be letting about 24 hours between coats of gesso, but depending on the warmth of the studio and everything else, I will sometimes do it within about 3 to 4 hours. The cool thing about gesso is you can actually touch it, and it's not whether it's dry or wet, because that'd make it really obvious. But actually, gesso is cool when it's not set fully, and it warms up to room temperature eventually, and then I feel pretty okay adding. And I'm putting it on fairly thin, so that helps. If you have canvas that has deep divots, like really texture, you may want to use like a paint. Let me grab the tool because I don't know the name of it. I will oftentimes, can you guys see me in the little side view thing?
yeah.
Or should I just stop share? It's just a,
To me, it's a putty knife.
yeah, putty knife. They call this a joint knife. At least that's what it says on the back here. And, I can just spread that on pretty thick. You'll definitely want that layer of gesso to dry longer because I'm putting it on pretty thick. And what I'll do is just spread it on, and it really just fills in and skims across the top. And then I will hit it a couple times so that I'm pulling off any big edges, but it's definitely going to need sanding in that case because I'm just not steady enough with this tool to where, in between edges. But this is a great tool. Credit cards, old credit cards, or the room key cards, or a rubber print brayer is a great tool. The kind of blade looking ones. Anything that you can kind of get some gesso on there. And there's nothing wrong with having canvas texture. Really, I mean, so many artists love that, or the linen texture or whatever. Because I paint transparently a lot, it really shows through in some of my paintings. So I'm a little more aware of getting rid of that texture. I do like,
Thank you.
yeah, I do like some texture. I don't like it smooth, smooth, smooth. So, you're going to find that out for yourself of what you like. And it can be different for different paintings. If I'm painting more impressionistically, thicker paint and stuff, then I don't worry about it as much. Sometimes that tooth of the canvas is really useful when you're painting with a lot of paint because it actually grabs the paint off your brush, right? Gives it some, again, I think of buttering toast, right? If you've got a whole bunch of butter, it's really hard to add more butter. But if you've just got the toast, it'll just grab that butter right off your knife. Anybody else have any other suggestions on how to prep a number of panels at a time or canvases? All right. And it looks like Eloise got to go see a Manet painting.
Yeah.
Man, I would not have known that was a Manet.
Right? And I got really close to it and I was looking at the, I guess the technique and everything. And down in the bottom left corner, especially, you can just see that the paint is really thin. Like underneath, there was almost this like umber, like a raw umber kind of shape, like a blob, and then really, really minimal little scrapes of paint. And even with the house, it was all just a lot thinner than I expected, and just so like light, well lit, but light in terms of the use of
The paint application, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah,
We
it
were
is
very
really
lucky.
interesting.
Yeah, we had this impressionist exhibition last year, and we've now at the gallery here got some Renoir and Manet and Monet and all of the impressionists.
Impressionist.
I know. I always think I wonder how long I was mistaking Manet and Monet paintings for each
Yeah,
other when
yeah.
I was in college and stuff, studying, just learning about the difference between all these painters. No, that's fun. And it reminds me of Jada's painting that she's working on of the Grand Dame
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
That's
And
why I thought it would be interesting to see
I
because
can
I was
almost see a
saying,
ghostly figure in there.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it was just the best. It was so cool. And there were actually some paintings by women as well. I didn't really take any photos of anything but this one because we've got this big, it's called the Red Room, and it's like a ballroom shaped room painted this like very rich red, and it's speckled, like tattooed with these incredible paintings from the past, I'd say like 400 years or so. And there's couches or, seats in the middle. So every time I go to the gallery here, I just take a little sketchbook and I just sit in the middle of that room and I just look around and see what is calling to me today and do a little sketch of it.
That's
But
fantastic. Yeah.
yeah, got some
So
good
nice
stuff.
to have that available to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an unusual composition, isn't it?
I was thinking the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
That
Tree
tree is
in the
almost dead
middle.
center.
Yeah.
Well, and
And
if
like
not,
that.
the tree, this
Yeah.
archway
whatever
is
the-
right in the middle. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's
Isn't
all
that a
kind of
tree?
off the actual horizon, and the lines of everything are slightly off as well. There's this kind of this wave to it. And yeah, it's just like it's kind of like when you go through your camera roll on your phone and you're deleting photos. And I just found it really fascinating that it is a site that we usually wouldn't celebrate. But this section of the gallery, it was kind of about the more everyday little moments and how we can sit and paint or draw these things. And it's not exactly about the subject, but it's about the lines. How do we celebrate these kind of boring, for lack of a better term. And
Yeah, and I don't know where this exists, like in his, I don't know when he died or anything. So he painted this in 1980 or 1882. So yeah, I don't know because it seems like
Well,
in
it
some
says
ways it
down
may
there
be
something about being sick.
right, yeah. And that's what's kind of neat too, is just like, oh, my wife was talking to me about this yesterday. Is I was like, I've been having a hard time getting out like on big trips to go plein air paint by myself. And she's like, why don't you just go in the backyard? I was like, oh yeah, that'd be great. And it sounds like he was sick and was just painting, what was basically easily available to him. And that's a good reminder.
This is Jada. You'll have to look and see what I just posted on the Padlet apropos of that.
Okay. Where did you post it?
It's on my thingy somewhere. It might, I don't know. I just posted
Under your section there. All right, we'll get to it
but
here.
later, but just remember it later.
Or we can jump to it.
No. Later, you can do it later. There.
Ooh,
Wow.
That's for my porch. I just
There
did
you
it this
go.
Oh
morning.
my.
wow.
I
gorgeous.
like you, I don't get out enough, and I thought the melt is happening. I'm calling this the thaw.
I love it. Yeah.
That is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
That's amazing.
And it's just so fun to I drag quickly as much stuff, and it was just so fun. And it really is being in this class that's got me back going, just do it.
Yay. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Perfect. All right. Well, we'll get back to this and looking forward to it.
Yeah, that just cracked me up though. I'm going.
All right. Well, let's jump to Beverly. Beverly has added some light to her doorway here. Nice, cool light coming through. Great. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about what you've been working on here, Beverly.
Well, it was the values question, and trying to get the values of the plant and the values in the stone and the brick. But also it was to do with the cool shadows on a light background and the bright light coming through as well, and just trying to sort of get the values right. And well, I don't know, I was just experimenting. I spent hours mixing colors and trying different combinations. It was fascinating. I absolutely loved it. It's not wholly successful, but it was, an attempt, and I've enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I love what you're doing here, and I love the experimentation. Like I see splatter paint, I see, stippling, I see dragging paint here, I see glazing going on. Like I see so many different techniques used that I'm really proud of you for experimenting. But what it does do is it kind of creates so many different effects that are all kind of experimentally done, that it does kind of make the painting not feel cohesive.
Right.
But that's okay, because again, you're just trying out all these new tools and new ideas and interesting effects. So quick question, is the bright white on top of the leaves, I can't tell if that's like flowers growing on top, like a whitish flower, or if that's the glare of the sunlight on the leaves.
It's a frustration. I had done it really, I thought, really well, and that the colors all blended, and they were leaves with the light. I hadn't got any color on the previous one, and I then started fiddling about with the door and smudged it all with my hand. So I thought, well, I could just do it again, but I did it way too light, and it now looks like it should be flowers, and I'm so cross.
It's a silver lace vine. My friend has one that looks just like it.
Yeah, you
You
just
know,
did a great
I
job of
think that
silver leaf vine or whatever.
silverly fine. Absolutely. That's what it is.
Yeah,
No,
the
I think I'm
reason
going
that
to
it
go.
looks like flowers versus just highlights on the leaves
Yeah,
is that you've
yeah.
changed the texture.
Yes, yes. I have. You're quite right. I think I'm going to go back and do it with a slightly greener, more yellowy color rather than this rather whitish color. And as you say, do it with a different application. I was using my chopped up brush
Sure. Yeah.
to to try and get that effect. But if I hadn't put my hand on the painting and smudged it all, it would have been okay.
Yeah, and it was like, I mean, because it seems like you could have taken a paper towel and come back and wiped out some of the, you can still remove some of that light off the top so that
Yes.
you're controlling the light rays coming through, which, I think we can all understand what's happening there, which
Yeah.
is a neat effect. But then, yeah, you've washed it out. And the funny thing is about white is that you have to think of white as a color or a temperature, and white is
Yes.
cool,
Yeah.
so that it kind of obliterates everything. So when coming across, so when I paint in Oregon at plein air, we have a lot of like wild rhododendrons, and we have a plant called like the Oregon grape, which is they're all waxy leaf,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're beautiful plants, but they're waxy leaf so that they catch the light and basically reflect bright white back,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it just blows out the illusion in my paintings. I have friends who can really, they do a great job. Brenda Boylan is a great example of that.
Mm.
And for me, it always, all of a sudden, I have these white spots and white cool areas. So I almost kind of ignore the super glare of
Right.
light hitting waxy leaves. And I'm not saying that's right. That's kind of maybe a weakness that I need to work my way through, is figure out how to do that better. And I have a couple things I do like that. I find myself just like shortcutting the system, and that's not always a great idea. But the thing that you've done here is you had a really nice texture in those leaves
Mm.
and a nice form that you were, creating. But then you changed the brush stroke to your chopped up brush, and all of a sudden it does feel like something else on top of those leaves. So if you would have
Yes.
painted it with the same technique that you were painting the leaves but added the white, I think then maybe we would have read it as highly glossy waxy leaf plant.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. I can see exactly what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Almost want to
changed the
make it like purple, and then it could be oh, what's that
Oh,
plant?
wisteria.
Wisteria Lane. Yeah, I always got to remember that old soap opera. Wisteria Lane, and make it more purple, and then all of a sudden it feels very intentional. Or if it was bright pink, it would be the plant that grows in Italy and Spain and stuff.
Oh, yes. Bougainvillea.
Yeah, man, you guys are good at this. Like plant trivia.
Can I just point out that you
Please.
pointed out in that masterpiece we've just been looking at that there were a figure in the window. I have put little shapes in my dark window.
Right.
Some shelving and a
I love
cupboard.
that. I love that because it's inviting us in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just a dark splodge. It's got something going on inside.
No, I think that's very clever.
Nice.
Because it creates a depth. Otherwise, everything is very flat, right? It's all right on this wall.
Mm.
And so you're inviting us in to investigate a little bit more. Now, I think there's so much good here. I mean, again, you're speckling on the ground. I think it's a little overdone, or, you could do something to explain. But I really appreciate what you're doing there. Also,
Yes.
the texture in your doorway using, transparent washes and different things. Really interesting, a great technique that you're going to be able to use. And then, you've got a lot of good ideas here, but what it does is it feels like one painting, two paintings, three paintings,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
whatever this is over here, washed
Yeah.
out painting. But that's fine. Again, every painting is about the next painting.
Yeah, sure.
So it's not like this is a failure. This may be one of the most successful paintings you ever do because you've learned 3 different techniques, and maybe even more importantly, you've learned what not to do going forward. And that is, if we tell the painting, thank you, you've taught me some important lessons.
Yeah.
The next paintings also thank you and appreciate, your sacrifice.
Yes.
That can be really useful. So, that is a difficult thing to do because we all 100% of us want to knock every painting we do out of the park.
Sure.
That's just not how it works. Yeah. So
have you got any clever ideas? It was gravel on the ground. And I thought, well, do I just leave it as, just a few brush strokes and just leave it like that? Or do I try and illustrate that it was gravel? And once I'd started, I sort of had to keep going. And I couldn't. Was it a good idea? Because gravel, I didn't want to get too nitpicky and start making lots of little stones everywhere.
Sure.
I just wanted to give an impression of it. But I don't know if that, should I have just done a quick couple of brush strokes and left it?
I think that this is fine almost as the underpainting. And then I would come through and describe a couple of the stronger light and dark patterns. And I would look for what is the thing, the best tool you have when dealing with, like, let's just say gravel, or like, I remember a painting that Gail did maybe a year ago, of a really stony edge to a creek. Right. And it just had 1,000 little cute rounded stones.
No, that was me.
Oh,
because I painted them.
yeah. And it's so tempting. And if the painting is about that, then great. Right.
Yeah.
And if you want to paint a photorealistic painting where everything is treated equally, also great. But boy, oh boy, what a lot of work. So when I'm painting stony creeks, because we have tons and tons of them, especially late summer where the water's level has gone down on these beautiful streams and stuff around here, is I have to really, really, really squint my eyes.
Yeah.
At what I'm looking at. And you can even do that at your photos, or you can just slightly, if you have any kind of photo editing software, just slightly blur it.
Yes.
And or posterize it or push up the contrast, and it will begin to link like the lights, the darks, and the mids, and looking for what is the main information, but not so very much information. Because even right now, I wouldn't tell you that was gravel. I would say that it's concrete or something like that.
Yes.
Can I interject something? This is Jada.
Please, Jada.
I'm going to confess to you that I thought this was a window that I was looking at. And partly that's because of the treatment of the bottom ground. I thought it was just the part of the wall that went down. And this is a window in the wall. And so whatever you do, I think maybe you need to give me more a sense that it's the ground
I agree.
coming at me.
It needs to be grounded. It's hard
I don't
to
know if anybody else had that trouble, but I was going.
I wonder if I would have thought that too if I didn't, know from from also our conversations. But yeah, that's a good point.
The shadow that she has cast on there looks like it's on a wall.
Right. Yeah, like just drop straight down.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go straight back and fix it.
Well, yeah, no, fantastic. And again, you don't get an A+ on this one, but you get what you do get an A+ is for bravery, for experimentation, and for, trying different things. And yeah, I'm really proud of you. And this painting is savable, or you just say thank you and move on to the next one, because I can literally paint a painting in 45 minutes, or I can paint a painting in 2 months by trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Well, I hope she either does it again or she can, because I really love the sense of invitation to a mysterious little place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I really like that one.
I love that wooden door.
Yeah, I also like that.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of a bummer sometimes is when we keep going. I'm kind of like, well, I like this one better.
Yeah, it's good. I like it at that point.
Yeah.
Mhm. But that's fine though, because again, it's a good painting, but it's not a great painting. So, in an effort to either make it great or to make the next painting better,
Yeah.
I believe in experimenting. I believe in being willing to ruin a painting all the
Yeah.
time, basically, except for
Sure.
commissions. That's why commissions take me so long, is because there's multiple different types of paintings that I'm always doing. Some of them are play, some of them are practice, some of them are experimentation, and other ones we call performance, right? So imagine you're a musician and you've got a show coming up, a grand pianist or, whatever you want to, whatever type of musician, and you're going to do the play, the experimentation, and the practice on the stage before people see, right? Before the auditorium's filled up. And then when everybody pays their tickets and shows up, the commission or the gallery work, that's performance. That's where I'm putting all these other things into effect.
Yeah.
And not every painting is a performance. And if you make every painting a performance, your growth will be so stagnant and so stymied. When I used to teach at the college, I had a lady who was in my class for about 2 years and worked on one painting, and it was never good. But she was so adamant that her personality type was the type that never gives up. And it felt like every class I had to have this conversation with her. It's like, you're not giving up. Just do it again. Just start the next painting.
Yeah.
And she just kept beating this poor dead horse. And we were learning so many lessons. She was learning so many lessons, but never putting them into effect.
She was giving
only
up on
trying
her
to
progress.
Yeah, exactly. And I swear she could have done the painting again in 2 or 3 hours, but instead spent a year on it, 2 years, and it was never good. So I have to remind myself that too. I think you guys have heard me say the saying, you have to know when to kill your babies,
Yeah.
which is the worst saying ever.
Oh,
But it's so, yeah. Did I tell you guys that story about one of my college professors?
Yeah.
Quick lesson as we're moving over. So in my freshman year, I had an amazingly beautiful, most sweet, sweet, sweet human I've ever met, Elsa Warnick. She did children's books for like 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, and they were the most. I think every one of her books, and they're so cuddly, and you just want to, I loved reading them to my daughter and sharing the pictures, and she would spend half the class just telling all of us to stop smoking cigarettes because we were all 19 and 20 years old and sitting up front, telling us all to wear our jacket and telling us to wash our hands. And she was just the most motherly professor of all time. And anyways, I was working on a final project and working it and working it and working it. And she finally just comes over and whispers in my ear, Michael, honey, you need to know when to kill your babies. She just meant like let it go and move on to the next project, and it really stuck with me. And I think it's just because of the how crazy it was to hear those words come out of her mouth. But yeah, there's times when it's just like, okay, let this go and start it again.
Yeah.
Even on big paintings, sometimes I'm just like, okay, yeah, and it hurts, but yeah. All right, Brett would like to apologize to the whole group. Great plans this week, but life descended into chaos. I'll catch up next term. Totally understand. And we really enjoyed looking at your work last week of the church and your figures and everything else. And so I'm almost willing to say that this last church that you reworked can be your final project, because we all learned a lot about just shadows and interesting lighting. So no worries, Brett. And Cheryl, who's been skipping a lot of classes and just shows up at the end. All right, Cheryl. Cheryl not only skipped my class, but she skipped her other class to go off and play in the marsh and paint.
Oh, that wasn't really classes. It was just a bunch of people painting together.
Okay, great.
Of course, you learn from other people when you do that. But this is the the marsh is just beautiful, but this time of year it's a very blah color, so you have to kind of make up the color that you want in there a little bit. But I really enjoyed doing these. They were very interesting.
Yeah, and there's something so special. We were talking about this before class started about getting out there with the birds and just
Uh-huh.
being out in nature. And it's a double, triple win, especially if there's not too many mosquitoes. Problems with marshes and swamps. And yeah, this is lovely. I love your big shapes. I love your big color areas. How you're keeping things kind of unified and moving across. And you can tell you're having fun. There's definitely some issues that I would like to point out a little bit, but I'm not going to be too tough because, again, plein air. First time you've done plein air in a while, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to get out and do much plein air either. So it takes a bit, right? It's stimuli overload when you get out there, and especially when there's pretty birds and everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I would like to applaud you for getting out, being brave, having fun, putting down color, and then kind of realizing too, like we were talking about our intention, is that your goal was just to get out there, have fun, be with nature. But then you realized looking at the scene that it wasn't providing everything that you were hoping for. So you went ahead and modified it. I'm a big believer in that. Again, looking for the poetry doesn't always mean that we're writing a poem about exactly what we see, but sometimes it's a little bit of a poem about what we wish we saw. And I think that's absolutely fine that we are the authors. And, sometimes the, great creators of the universe need our help. And a little color and a little whatever it is. So yeah, looking at your line of trees here, I see like an overlap just to create a sense of depth and perspective. The one thing that really caught my eye here is that this tree, if we look at the tops and middle, is behind these trees. But when you come to the bottom, it's actually in front of these trees. It's lower on the horizon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Simple things like that will really help you. If the bottom of it was here, would push it back a little bit further. When you do deal with and this is a big problem for me, when you're dealing with a reflection, you do want to make sure it's lining up. So the tallest part of the tree is here. It's going to be directly underneath. So this is a ghost tree that exists here somewhere. Sometimes it's easier for me to add the tree in than it is to cover up the reflection. Yeah, and then I would just look for a little bit of dissipation of color, unless these are all the same exact type of tree.
A lot of them were the same, but not all of them.
Yeah, and then if you wanted to bring this a little more in line with this class, I would just say bringing in some cools into these grasses within the shadows. Right now you have light and dark, and it is a little warmer, a little bit cooler. But if you actually came in, and I don't mean the greens, but I mean some like purpley blues, and same thing can be done in your trees a little bit, just to kind of break it up, right?
Well, I was thinking about that. I thought maybe it would be cool to get some lavender or something in there, but the more I thought about it, the more I wasn't sure how to do it.
Yeah, and when I say like lavenders, blues, purples, it doesn't mean like they're a bright lavender. It just means I would make a little pile of lavender and
Just
probably
a little bit.
mix it with these colors, and it'll just neutralize them a little bit, calm them down. And right now it just looks so flat, right? If I just block this off and everything, it feels like what you've done here is the initial block in, which is a great, and especially with acrylics, they're so friendly like that you can just kind of block in big shapes, big colors, get your design established, and then you can come in and start modifying a little bit within that. So I would say great start. And I think we can all see the joy in this painting within the brush strokes, the energy going on. And this looks like a fresh, fun piece that I think we all wish we were able to sit beside you and hang out and watch the birds together. So yeah, I would say
Thank you.
great start. And if nothing else, you did it. You got out there, you painted, you had fun.
Yeah, it's so nice to sit there like just by yourself and everything, but it is
Oh, you don't
it
even
is
want us there.
sensory
I get it. Yeah.
overload, you know? It's just so much to take in at one time.
It really is. Yeah. No, every time I get out and plein air paint, especially in the beginning of a season, after being, stuck in my studio or happily comfortable in my studio, yeah, you forget that it's literally stimuli overload, that
Yeah,
the wind is affecting you, the sunlight's affecting you, the bugs are affecting you, everything
and
is.
you have to stop, like the rules, you have to stop and think hard about some of the rules. Like you should automatically know that red will offset your green. However, when there's all that going on, that's not an automatic thing. I
Right, yeah.
have to think about it. Anyway.
No, that's great. And again, just getting out there and even blocking it in. I mean, because you can fully revisit this painting if you want to, or you just say, this is a impression of my time in my place.
And
Yes.
it has a really nice impression.
It does. Yeah. No, it feels like a note. It feels like a journal entry. All right, Darlene.
Yeah, that was my reference. Would you go back to the one before that from last week? Because I'd hope to have just a short critique. Because I really wanted to do that. Keep going down. Next, yeah, no, one more. Okay, that one. That was my photo reference, and below it, is my take on it. And I was hoping to get just a brief critique because I thought maybe I'd do it larger. And so if you go down underneath that one where there you go, because that was the photo. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just kind of comparing them mentally real quickly.
Your painting is prettier.
so
Yeah. Oh, it's so much more inviting.
Mhm.
that's I had kind of wanted to do that one larger, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to do it without some critique of it first. So if you just quickly, don't spend a lot of time, but because I'd still like to maybe do it larger.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First thing is I would take these branches up and off. They're both just kind of side by side. There's 3 of them here butting up like you're planning. Because remember, a frame, I always will just put my pinky on my edge of my canvas over and just realize that the frame is going to cover that. So you're going to bump right up against the frame. So just pulling these branches up and off. So you're not like, they don't know anything about the edge of this canvas, right? So that would be one thing. Let's just start kind of, so this would be my focal area for me. You've got all lines lead towards here, right? You've got basically an X design.
Yeah.
You see that?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Which is great. And so that really makes this area important. It doesn't always need to be the most, high contrast or the highest detail or anything like that, but you have to be selling this, right? Everything is about this to a degree. And especially when you have a path leading basically straight down, it's just like, so I think that's nice. I like your dappled light, your cross light here on the ground. I feel like there's a very strong sense of light, right? It feels like the shadows are being cast across, but I'm not sure which direction. I'm guessing from left to right. Nothing else in this painting is really telling me the light source very well.
Okay.
So you may want to kind of figure that out and establish it. I don't think in the photo. Oh, okay. Yeah, it does. So you have shadows underneath, light on top. Shadows on the back side here, light on top. Right? This is the end of fall. So a lot of the leaves have fallen off. So it's kind of an awkward time to paint or, to look at a scene, few leaves, and it can be really beautiful, but it's not as beautiful as like, early fall, right? When the leaves are really turning. I think what makes yours more inviting is that you've given us more leaves and a little more structure. So I would play that up and just realize that your light's coming across. I guess I kind of see it here and here, but I think you could play it up here. There's no form, right? This all looks very flat, maybe face lit. So getting some shadow onto those right sides will help us know and help us read this a little better.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate that. All right. So then the one above that is the one I ended up doing for the final project, because I didn't want to do that without talking about it first. So, okay.
So here's your reference.
That's the reference. And I really chose that because it was in the fall and there'd been a lot of fires. So the sunset was really, really red. And I like the red. That one, I just cleaned my palette and used my biggest brush I owned on a piece of paper and slapdashed it on really quick because I wanted to get a feel for where things were and what, what the thing, what I guess you would call it a thumbnail, basically.
Yeah.
Just clean palette colors I had on it and not spend any time at all. Just kind of slopped it on.
Yeah, and there's a nice energy to it. It kind of reminds me of like a de Kooning or something. Yeah.
And then that's the final one. And one of the things I heard I think it was maybe last week or something. One of your students said something that struck me and gave me so much hope. She mentioned that she had been in one of your earlier classes, and that you were painting every single pine needle or fir needle or something. And at that moment, I realized that there's hope for me.
Yeah, no, it's such an instinct for so many of us.
I just, up until that moment, I really keep getting into I don't know what you'd call it, the doldrums, because I'm getting frustrated. And I thought, there's no hope for me. I can't seem to get this right. And then when I heard that, I thought, oh, shoot, yeah, there's hope. If he did it, there's hope. So, that was a very good thing that I heard. Anyway.
Good.
There you go.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, like some of your areas that are the looser areas are some of my favorites in this painting, where you're just, not overly describing anything. And yeah, I think your sky colors are just beautiful. I love some of these tree shapes. And yeah, I think with a little bit of refinement, this painting's really coming along. It's a little tough because it's, how you photographed it at an angle. This hill shape is a little I don't quite understand what's going on. And unfortunately, kind of it's in a focal area right here because of the building and everything, which it's pretty great. But I can't understand this. And then the hill seems unrefined. I'm not going to say it's good or bad. It just feels like it needs more work to tell us what's going on here. If it is a road, it feels like it gets bigger as it goes further away from us.
It actually, I think it did. It kind of spread out, widened out there.
Okay, so it's a field or a tilled up area. It looks like maybe a garden. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, tractor, or car, or something.
Yeah, so a lot of times when I'm dealing with references that I'm not sure what's going on, I'll just kind of make something up that makes it so I know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, it looks like, I think this is a planted area. It looks like there's rows of some kind of a bush, and I really am not positive what's going on.
I think they're car tracks.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit dirty, muddy, maybe. It was in the fall again, and like I said, what the two things that drew me to that was the red sunset, because it was really red behind me, and then the old building, because I love old buildings and barns, and I've never actually tried to paint one. And I thought, oh, the heck with it. I like the barn. That's one of the things. That's why I didn't get closer because I didn't want to trespass.
I
And
like
You'll
the
so,
learn.
painting better than the photograph.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot that's really great going on here. This, and we could ask anybody else if this bothers them.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
a cliff, or it looks like a ledge, like the
Mm.
that
Like you
like
could
those
see a
trees on
lip
the
here,
right,
and then it,
like
yeah,
a cliff.
I wonder
Or
if you just don't have the
doesn't
dark
lay down.
line.
yeah. I don't think you need the dark. I think you can just bring the green
Yeah.
across, or the plants across, or
ah, okay.
whatever else. Yeah, that's the confusing thing, and unfortunately, that's what sucks about painting. Is like you can paint 90% of it beautifully, but if something really takes you out of it, all of a sudden the viewer becomes fixated on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
painting the best portrait, but one of the eyes is wonky, right?
Okay.
You can only put patches on so many of your paintings before.
All right. Well,
So I would get rid of that. I don't think it's necessary. If you wanted to
Okay.
keep it a path, I would just keep it a path, but make it make sense so that it's bigger and then wraps around smaller.
okay.
Um,
I
Yeah,
see
it
what you're
doesn't.
saying.
It does not lay down.
And it
No,
also doesn't, it leads you right off the corner of the thing. And really,
Yeah.
you
That's
don't
true.
need that path. The color is so beautiful.
right. Yeah, and you'll create a line, right? Right now we're using this line to lead us through, but remember I told you that a line is anywhere two different things meet. That could be values, colors, or temperatures, or edges, anywhere they meet. So if you took this green up against this light pink and other colors of green and other texture, it will create a line and create a semblance of
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Thank you. I appreciate
yeah,
think
lovely,
you're-
lovely areas. Up
Mhm.
here is just fantastic. The only other thing is that I can tell that you're using a filbert brush pretty much exclusively. So you're getting really kind of big, nice, soft edges, which are fantastic for so much of it. But there are times when having a nice flat and a nice edge will help you. And that can be at the ends of some of these to
Oh,
kind of
okay.
bring them off. Because right now they're all club-like.
Okay. You're right. That's why I'm hoping to watch you do some detail things. So thank you. Yeah. I
Yeah. And
appreciate-
remind me to talk about that when we get to that.
I really appreciate your critique. Thank you.
No problem. Diane Lewis has just said, well, you said that was my favorite painting. I'm done painting. I'm going to retire. Top of my game.
I haven't done a thing. I got home from Mexico Sunday night and caught something on the plane, so I'm just
Aw.
recovering.
Oh,
Anyway, so I'm going to wipe out the background like you suggested and try to make it look like one painting.
yeah. So good. So close. Yeah, I really think that you did an amazing job of painting Mount Hood, but poor Mount Hood just doesn't belong in this
Not
painting.
good.
But lovely, lovely painting. I love the mauves and purples, and yeah, again, one of my favorites that you've done. Really nice,
Yeah.
really colorful, really energetic.
It's beautiful.
Okay, and I was telling Eloise last week, just focus on the cat's butt.
Yes. I did actually, I got so close to finishing this dang painting, and then I don't know why I changed it, but I think it was the edge. I changed the edge in one of the arches. I'll just tilt my camera down.
Oops,
And
hold
I'm
on a
getting-
second. I need to give me 1 second and I'll stop share real quick.
So it's hard to get a good photo because of the lighting and everything like that. But I'm sitting on the ground as well because I'm getting RSI from trying to finish it. So I'm getting like a really sore thumb and back and all these things. So the fur.
Is Eloise spotlit for you guys now?
No.
No,
I can see your picture off to the side.
Why am I? Let me see if I remove. Sorry.
Oh, you will be. You will.
There. Okay. Stop share here.
There we go.
Okay. There we go.
Hello.
There you are.
Hello. One of my friends gave me a bus stop sign or like a street sign and said, "Oh, it's a really big piece of metal. I thought maybe you could paint it." And so that's nice. Maybe I will. But yes, so I got so close to finishing. I'd even painted a crown and I did all these things. And then slowly, things just kept kind of morphing because I would change the edge of this arch. Because, like, painting architecture is hard enough without trying to figure out the maths of an archway. But anyway, so I've darkened everything and I have been challenging myself to commit, to be decisive, but also not be scared of value difference and contrast. So I've darkened everything. I've darkened all of the flowers up here. And under here, I've started blocking in the shadow, but it's kind of lightened up a bit since going back in with some of the yellows. And I've had to fix up the face a couple of times, like over here. So it's like, I feel like it's 80% finished at this point. But ta-da, this blanket, I will put it to a vote. The council can decide. Please help me. I am being held hostage. This down here, I'm actually thinking of turning into like a sheer curtain. Yeah, because I just think that we've got enough green going on. And once I put the crown in, it's going to be those blues and purples that are everywhere else. And I really just don't want it to be too heavy. And I mean, that was like my first real deep color. Oh, let me show you the mountains though, because I have
made more subtle.
Yep. And kind
Nice.
of like a rosy color instead of a blue, because I think there's so much sky and
Right.
it's coming through here that it needed something warmer. So it's got like a rosy twinge to it all. I'm happy with the cushion. I'll bring some shadows down into the marble down here and like a really sharp highlight. Oh, I am probably the world's like Guinness World Record holder for the straightest lines now. I have become an expert. There are so many lines in this. It's just, but now I could probably be a ballet dancer. I can just hold that. I can just anything you want. So yeah, what do we think?
I do think the background tree or hills are falling back much nicer. They're not competing as much. I think that the green, I think your fabrics can be done.
Yeah,
I like that fabric. That's well done.
I do too.
I think it kind of unifies it.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
do think that you could create a bit of an arch in that upper left corner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring it
just to
back in.
soften that because you have it on the other side with the wisteria or whatever. And
Yeah,
right now you've just got a big strong edge, but it is kind of nice because it counterbalances, but it maybe as a framing device could use some kind of a little bit of an arch of some sort, whether that's fabric or more plants or whatever it is.
I even thought of, you know how in some of these older portraits and things, they'll have a really faint wallpaperish kind of filigree thing. So I even thought something like that might work, or even just like the faintest outline of a candlestick holder or something that
But you don't want to draw too much
flat.
attention.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
you're
know.
complicating it.
I would.
What about I'm reading it, the green fabric and the green trees at the background kind of look like one. What if those mauve mountains just went across and you didn't have the green trees?
Mm.
Don't know, but it just
On
kind
the
of
left.
reads to me like it flows with that fabric.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
kind of a hard stop.
I like the idea you had last time of just bringing that green cloth all the way up and make it
Yeah.
portrait. And then it can have a curve at the top, like it's
Make it more like stage setting, right? Like a theater.
yeah.
And I love painting curtains and fabric and
And it keeps it simple
drapery.
enough that it won't detract.
Yeah, yep. But aside from that, I'm going to be bringing some more shadows like under the belly and doing the little foot that's there. But apart from that, I'm really happy with over here. I've been darkening the wisteria with I guess kind of like some dusty purples, and I'm trying to keep all of the values I don't know, desaturated enough that if I add these tiny little flecks of color, it all talks to each other.
Are you avoiding the cat?
No, I I just really, really don't want to mess up the face and crown with accidentally doing something to it. Because like let me show you down here. It's really messy. And acrylic paint, I just don't want to get like a perfect, I don't know, whisker or something and then accidentally mess it up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I did paint these really fine, especially in the ears, and it was like perfect. It was like these gossamer little tufts of hair. And then I added the crown, and you can actually even see, I should probably wipe my lens, but you can see the outline of this crown that I had. And then I realized that because it's so big and it's hypnotic doing these tiny little lines, the whole facial feature was just slightly off. And it looked like a medieval cat with this perfectly round, weird face. And it just wasn't right. So now I have to figure out what I'm going to do here. If I can hide it with a crown or if I need to gesso over it and sand it back because it's really risen. But then again, I'm also at this point where I'm just starting to think, I reckon she just wants to have it in her house, and I can say, kind of like the 6 months thing. Tell me in 6 months, do you want anything fixed? But I just want to bring this light that's here. I'm going to bring it a little tiny bit in here, paint a little bit of I've got this kind of really, really light ochre kind of color in here. Just a little bit in there, fix up these trees, and then that's it.
I like the soft edge on the top of that where you were just pointing. On the left hand side of your arch there. I like that, and I think if you simply took match that arch on the other side, you could just about just pull it right up, but make it soft like that. Make that whole edge soft.
Yeah. Look at how much my hand has to move. Like this thing is seriously huge. So it's like the face is the biggest commitment apart from the curtain. So I'm like, it's not that I'm avoiding it, but it's almost a treat for me. I've painted so many animal eyes and facial features that I'm like, I could do that in my sleep. But all of this, especially the light, knowing that it's coming in like that and committing to where it's coming from. I've even got, because I have to add a couple more little wisps of clouds, but I've got a little tiny bit of Indian yellow right above those irises. The tiniest little wisp of it. So I have to just unify it all a little bit. But
that's a very challenging painting.
I
I'm ready for tackling that.
especially
I
There's a
making
lot
up
going
so
on.
much of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do wish that she had given me a little bit more, like specified a little bit more what she actually likes. Because I don't know her, so I can't know if she wants this Baroque kind of Gothic style to it or if she wants more of like a romantic style. And with my job, I can do it, I can do those things, but it's committing to it and trying to sense what kind of a person is she. She's going to be looking at this for 20 times as long as I have been. So,
Did she specify the crown?
yeah, red cushion, crown, and she wanted, this is not me at all, but she wanted bright red, bright blue, purple, and green. Do you know, getting those colors to harmonize in something so dramatic is so difficult. So it's very challenging. And I hope that when she does see it, she realizes the task that this has been, especially in acrylic paint as well. Like,
Yeah.
oh, but I love it. And it's given me so many ideas for the next designs. I've already started designing one of my own dog because I'm now so used to painting something so royal that it's going to feel weird when it's gone. I need another
You
one.
need some royalty in your life.
Yeah.
And making a dog look royal is a lot tougher than making a cat look royal.
Yeah, I think so.
True.
You might want to do a jester painting.
Yeah.
She can be like the kitchen maid covered
There you
in
go.
bubbly slime and she's washing
Yeah.
dishes.
What are you cooking? What are you eating?
Yeah. But
Awesome. Well, very good. I posted in the comments section or whatever a link to a Maxfield Parrish painting that it reminds me of.
Yeah.
okay.
And you can see some of Maxfield Parrish did a lot of these paintings with the
Oh,
the framing
okay.
devices and different things. So
yeah, those are the colors. Like that is the only way to get like a teal green, a purple, and like this kind of architecture to work. It has to be the rose gold lighting. And that is seriously hard. If it's not just a sunset, I can do that. I love doing that. But this with red velvet. Oh,
very cool.
and
All
definitely
right.
not for $2,000. Don't be like me, people. Don't be a painting charity.
Every commission ends up being a charity.
Thank you, guys.
Good.
All right. Just trying to go back to our Padlet here. Oh, I gotta spotlight myself. All right. And
Oh,
Gail, this is so good.
Oh,
beautiful.
Amazing.
Thank you.
There's
Amazing.
so much color variation in this,
Oh,
I
but it
love,
really holds together nicely.
love it.
I think that's one of my very favorites of yours.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It was
That is so beautiful.
different than what I usually do. The paint is thick.
It kind
Yeah,
of
I
reminds me
see.
of Brent Cotton.
I'm sorry.
It reminds me of Brent Cotton.
Oh, a little bit, yeah.
I love
With
your
the soft
signature
edges and focus.
purple.
I think the yellow at the top needs to be knocked back.
no.
I don't know. Because of the soft edges, it kind of works as like a reverse trail. Like
Yeah.
I might start there and come back down. It doesn't take me off because of the soft edges and
Oh, okay. I was afraid it was too light.
The only
thought
thing
was
up
the
on the
focus.
top is that thing slightly on the left. It looks sort of whitish.
I think that's a glare.
Oh, it's a glare.
Okay.
Yeah, because I looked at that too and looked at the painting and it's not that white.
Everything else looks great. Great.
And there's one kind of on the right side too, or on the left side. There's one on the left and on the right. And I have lights that kind of shine down, so I think that's where the light is hitting it.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, it really feels like you're in a canoe, on a quiet morning or evening. And yeah, it's very relaxing
Thank you.
and nice control of light and kind of the focal area. I mean, those red trees in the back are a little bit competing with, because of their contrast to the cool, but I like them.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And that
Boy, I
And
touch,
don't have a
light
lot of
against
notes.
dark against light. You really nailed that whole thing, and this gives it so much depth.
Thank you. This was a very freeing painting because I think I mentioned it last week that I felt like I was getting very meticulous with some of the things I was doing. So this one was very freeing. A lot of big brush strokes.
Yeah, which it doesn't look like, right? It looks
Right. No.
like highly detailed and stuff, but then you start to look at it and appreciate it and you go, oh, yeah, those are just nice big swaths of temperature and color and great transitions. And yeah, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't think would really work. But really do. Like, it really reads well, and it reads like there's a spotlight, on this foreground, which definitely happens, out in with a bunch of trees like that. And is this one kind of made up, or is this from a?
No, it was a really large photo on Facebook, and I cropped way in on it. And I did
Nice.
work on that one below.
Okay.
I particularly like
I
the dark
darkened.
branches.
I darkened that quite a bit compared to what, based on our conversation last week.
Right. And I think that helps us to get to here. It doesn't feel like a big flat space. Yeah.
But you can see one is very meticulous and one is very big and bold and loose. So they're two very different.
That is really interesting how much of a difference. Like, this still has a light and a dark, or I mean a dark and a light, but by pushing it that next level, really feels like this comes forward. These, really sit in the dark shadows, and it just gets us into this area. It's almost like the other one where you have that spotlighting effect going on really nicely. And even though these are being capturing the light, this is capturing the most light.
Yeah.
Yeah, great job. And I'm glad you didn't overdo texture or anything else. Like, you just really let us kind of work our way back, get back here, really enjoy it. Nice job.
Thank you.
richer.
Yeah, and this is I don't know if I'd have been able to guess this was yours. I mean, I see it kind of in the treatment, but not in the colors and not using a palette knife. And so it's fun to see that you're able to take a big departure and have fun and experiment with lots of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of palette knife in there. That's a whole lot of phthalo blue, or excuse me, phthalo green.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Does.
Yeah,
I really like the grays.
how did you make the purpley gray?
That's quinacridone red and the phthalo green.
Isn't that gorgeous how it just settles down
It
and
made a beautiful purpley gray.
then it makes this kind of perfect reflection color. Oh man, I'm totally stealing more of your ideas.
Beautiful.
Really is. This is really great. This one will probably fly right off the wall when you get it into the gallery. It's
How big is it?
It's 24 wide and 30 tall, and
Ooh.
2 inches
Wow.
deep. It's a panel.
Beautiful.
That's cool. Were your shoulders sore from shoveling all that paint up there with the palette knife?
It was. And making sure I had enough paint mixed up. That was the trick.
Right. And how did you keep it from becoming a smushy blob?
I did not, it's wet on wet, and I didn't blend anything. I mean, a lot of times when I'm doing transparent paint and doing something soft, I will go over it with a mop brush and soften it and blend it and things like that. And I did not do that here. I did it with the brush and then palette knife and brush, wet on wet. That's mostly wet on wet.
That's pretty
I mean,
phenomenal.
it's all wet on wet because it's still wet.
Wow. That's great. Well, I'm very proud of you. Again, I'm keep saying that I'm scoring you guys on bravery versus results, but you get both on this one. You know, it is nice to see when a painting really does work out as well. And yeah, this is a lot of fun. I'm almost scared for you now because
Yeah.
like all of a sudden you've created a whole new
Monster.
set of things to play with and experiment with, and I'm gonna miss the tonalist Gail, you know.
I have one more painting. I've got an underpainting this size, and it's a stand of birch trees. And I did the underpainting a while ago. It may be down at the bottom somewhere, and I'm going to do it with this technique and see how that goes. I'm pretty sure it's way down there.
When you say wet and wet, are you talking about paint from the tube with paint from the
No,
tube?
I'm talking about wet paint on wet paint because
Yeah,
normally I do thin layers of paint and wait
It's
for
wet
them to
with-
dry and glaze over it. And this time I never waited for
when
anything
she's
to
ready
dry.
for the, yeah, is it
Oh,
wet
is
with
it, here's the
oil?
underpainting. Is this
Did
the
you add
underpainting for
oil?
that?
Yeah, that's the underpainting for the one up top.
Mhm.
And there should be one more underpainting. It's a stand of birch trees.
And it's scary because this is good, right? Like,
yeah.
and you've got these beautiful colors. Like that's what gets me in trouble a lot of times is I do, and I'm like, I want to preserve these colors. So I'm like, oh, you got to let them show through, but you covered everything.
Yeah.
Every little piece of it.
And usually I do not do that.
Yeah. And I think that when I do like a nice underpainting or I get these gorgeous glowy colors, I try to preserve them, and it's often to my own detriment.
Yes. And I felt like that's where I was getting. And I want to break that.
Yeah, because
normally
there's
I would
almost nothing worse than having a good part of your painting and then protecting it.
Yep. And that's what I've been doing. And I get really meticulous and tight. And that's the underpainting I have yet to do.
Wow.
Cool.
That'll be nice. That'll be
Oh, I like that. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
But
that'll be nice.
that's
Good.
another where I like the underpainting. And, it's almost like
Yeah.
if I add color to it, I'm going to wreck it. And that's what I'm trying to get away from. Like I said last week, I think I've got underpaintings nailed. It's moving away from the underpainting and actually doing the painting, making that leap, not staying married to the underpainting.
Good life lesson for me as well going forward. So, a reminder at least, because I've got stacks of almost good underpaintings that I'm so you got to attack it. You've got to, I want to just set my tomato timer and say you've got 1 hour to cover this thing and go for it.
Exactly. Instead of really being meticulous about going over it really lightly with glazes, so you're not really destroying it, and it just got
both
to be,
ways are great, but very differing effects, and also which one's bringing you more joy.
And I had a blast doing the wet on wet.
Yeah,
because I covered that it took a day, but I covered the whole thing and I was really excited about it.
yeah,
And I did not wait for it to, to completely dry to come back in and glaze or anything like that. I just mixed the values and did it. Because normally I would depend on glazing it to either push back a tone or bring it forward.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a good example. This painting is 2 months old and you haven't touched it.
Yep.
And that's what happens. I mean, again, I've got like 4 of them sitting to my right over here that are, and even that one that's over my shoulder is one that I'm like, I've just not quite made a decision on what's the next step. And yeah. And yeah, whenever I show it to, friends or somebody who comes over, I'm like, what do you think I should do with this? They're like, don't touch it. I'm like, no,
exactly.
I'm gonna touch it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you think it's good, but I know it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, great. I'm really, really, really proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is I don't want to say a breakthrough moment, but it's a bold moment. And there's nothing that says you can't do and knock out a couple of these and then go back and forth. And now all of a sudden you have two different styles that still relate. They still feel like a Gale painting now that we know you can do it. And so I think that's very exciting. I think you've inspired all of us.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, you inspire me always to take next steps. Try
Yeah,
something.
on your paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I always say you guys should go for it. Be willing to kill your babies. Yeah. But my babies are precious. Just kidding. Well, yeah. Anyways, a good reminder. And I rarely regret, like, even if I do kind of ruin the painting, at least I've had fun and moved forward and done something bold. But there are times when just sneaking up on it is the right choice as well.
Yep. And I did that on the pine tree, I guess next looking at the pine tree compared to the one I just finished would be interesting. Because pine tree I finished a week or so ago.
Absolutely.
That was a lot of glazing and a lot of waiting for it to dry and sneaking up on it. This one I just knocked out.
Yeah, that's great. And you'll find an audience for both. All right, Graham.
Wow.
That's gorgeous, Graham. That is gorgeous.
Ooh.
All right. And next we've got Geez, Graham.
A lot of that is thanks to your chip brush idea. I took a chip brush and cut it up, and that's how I got all that texture in the foreground there. Foregrounds have always been tough for me, but that chip brush makes it a lot easier.
Be careful. They are addictive, though.
They are.
I will all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so good. It's so good. And then but it'd be great. 20 more, chip brush strokes. And all of a sudden it becomes very redundant. And
I had to soften
it. Got just enough. Yeah.
As I go back. Yeah.
My daughter was down in Charleston this last week, and there was a huge southeastern wildlife extravaganza.
I heard about that.
Yeah. And it was a whole lot of the marsh paintings were going for $10,000 and $12,000 a pop.
Wow.
She sent me the link to apply for it next year. Maybe I should put it on Padlet.
Yeah, I think Graham should apply.
I think you absolutely should apply, Graham.
Yeah, this how big is this, Graham?
This is 24 square.
Oh, wow.
It's lovely. I'm really having a hard time trying to think of what to say. The foreground's really nice. I love the soft diffuse edges, your transitions. I still remember, it doesn't even seem like it was very long ago that you and I were working together on transitions and the gradients of color. And I don't know how you figured it out so dang quickly, but it's all about gradients. You've got a gradient going up, and then, from the grayish green all the way up to the cooler, airier green. And then it goes from the pinks, from the more radiant pinks up to the cool purples. And then you do it in reverse on the ground, where you go from the airy, diffuse, gray, whatever name this is of these colors. And then they come down to the more saturated greens and reddish and auburns. And when I say auburns, right, you can see some hints of it, but even within these greens, you guys see that transition, those little bit of warmer reds within. Manje, I want you to pay attention to this, because this is going to come up in your painting when we talk about it. So he's got cool light up in the sky, warmer, but still cool light. And so he gets these warmer shadows. And this is one of the hardest things I've ever figured out how to teach, and I still don't think I teach it well when I talk about cool lights, warm shadows, is that the shadows aren't actually warm, right? They're not red, they're not bright auburn, but they're warmer. And that brings that forward. It brings those shadows forward. So even in the darks within these trees, there's still a lot of red a lot of auburn, but it's auburn-ish, right? It's not like they're red shadows or bright red, any bright warm colors, but this is a really good example of cool light warm shadows.
I sent that information to you in a text message, Michael, because I don't know how to get it out of Padlet from a text message.
Uh-oh. When did you send that?
Just a second ago.
Oh, okay, phew.
This one by Graham for me is he conquers shapes, because the beautiful shape of the water and the beautiful shape of the land and the beautiful shape, and then he conquers color. He's got this amazing, but it's a combination of realistic stuff. Down the bottom looks totally real.
Yeah.
And yet it's completely unreal sky that absolutely works.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, you guys take
Really
your
good.
hand and cover the sky and just focus on the marsh, the ditch and the grasses, and see how, I mean, that's almost like realistic, right?
Yeah.
It's but it's almost kind of dreary and boring in a way. It's gorgeous. It's so well done. But then you invite this gorgeous sky, and what it's doing is they're allowing each other to play off each other, right? It's about the sky. It's about these gorgeous colors, and the ground is giving it a place to live, right? Something to grow off of. But then the sky is allowing the ground to be interesting, because the sky is so beautiful that you've got a very interesting, but if they were both bright and super colorful, they'd be fighting each other, but they're not. One is about shape and form and detail, and the other one's about color and temperature shifts. And that could be two paintings in one, right? It could be like, where I've said that to a lot of us, and I say it to myself, is this looks like two paintings, where it doesn't. These harmonize really well. If that makes sense. I don't know. And what's funny too is these little spots of light clouds, or brighter, whiter areas. That shouldn't work in my book. But I really like it. I really like these little, it feels spotty and a little, like, I would have a hard time leaving that myself. But in yours, I'm just like, yeah, leave it.
Aliens.
Yeah. But it's nice. One of my favorite painters, Eric Jacobson, does that a lot. Very different style. His paint's very luscious and impressionistic and thick, but he will also have these dabs of paint. We have, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 of his paintings in our house. And I'm always surprised by these little dabs of colors that he just kind of drops in his paintings.
Yeah. Is he from Maine?
Yes, he used to live in Oregon.
I painted with him for a week one time. He's cool. He's a nice guy.
He's really cool. Yeah. He and I used to teach workshops together when he was living in Oregon and Washington. Yeah, he's a super sweet guy, a really good painter, a really good teacher.
Yeah.
Well, you signed it, so I guess you're done, and that's good, because I've got 0 notes.
Don't ask me how I did it or if I could ever do it again, but I should.
Well,
yeah, I'm pleased with this one. So
yes, amazing.
All right.
Well, thank you,
Jada, in our backyard here. This is so cool. What's going on here, Jada? What's this dark shape? Is it a tunnel?
Today marks the beginning of a season called Lent.
That's pond. That's a pond. It's a little fake.
Oh, okay.
Pond.
Okay.
Which, yeah, this is not intended as a painting to go out into the world. This is simply me capturing the moment in time at the end of the winter when we've had so much snow and now it's melting down, and it gets this kind of grotty look.
Yeah.
And I love the tree in the background, which it's not really finished, because the thing I most want to do is that center, and I haven't finished it because there's a limit down. Acrylic is amazing. I have to say,
I would not have guessed this was acrylic. Yeah.
Open acrylic is amazing. Anyway, I did do some stuff on the 67 steps, and I think I still need to do another pass over it. You could scroll sideways. Oh yeah, you can see that's my porch, and that's what it really looked like. And you can see the nice branches in the back there that are set up against the dark, which is what I really liked.
Yeah. I love what you were attracted to in this, and the warm versus, the auburns, and then again the light versus dark, but you didn't overplay it. Like it's not it's not overly done in the photo. This is an overcast day, so you don't have really strong shadows or anything else. And you really captured that kind of, we all know that feeling when the snow is melting and it's a little bit on the ugly side. It's kind of,
Yeah.
it's going to make your boots wet if you walk in it. And yeah, nicely done. I think this will be a lot of fun. And yeah, you can definitely, continue to work on some areas if you choose, or you can just leave it as a sketch.
Yeah,
Really
I may
nice.
say the pond because the pond is not obvious and it's, and I think
Yeah, it looks like a
doesn't
hole or a tunnel. I
exactly.
think by simply lowering this arch
Yes.
Yeah.
a little more, it just,
Yeah, just cover it up.
I don't know. I like it. Sorry, I keep forgetting I can scroll sideways.
Yeah, I'm not used to the
Yeah,
sideways.
see the angle? Doesn't have that big arch.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's
So
good.
just by keeping it a little horizontal there will help it lay down.
Yeah, you can't really see it from this angle. So anyway, it's hideously ugly, and so that's what's interesting is
It's
trying to
not
paint
ugly.
something. No, I meant the actual land is.
It's that time of the year.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
how
it
to
is that time of year.
how to get that feeling and how to get the light. And this is why I really think painting's through your windows. If you can't go outside, paint through the windows because then you get the real light. And that I can't get any other way. Anyway, down below is the there you go. There it is.
Oh,
there.
good. You added some color.
I did, but I think actually it's too much color. I think I need to do a little glaze over it and bring it back down again. I think it's carried away. I think they've gone, hello, we're flowers.
Yeah, it's hard to not look at them. Whereas
Yeah,
before you were really kind of traveling along this line a little more.
yeah.
And now I really want to go here, but it worked. Like,
But I like it.
I think that, yeah, just a fine wash of ultramarine blue or,
Yeah, that's what I was
and
wondering
then
what.
just kind of picking it up on, kind of on the top edges a little bit. So that's capturing some of this light a little bit. And again, it's not going to be this warm light that's catching it, 'cause this
Oh,
stuff is in the
cool.
shadow, but it'll be kind of the cooler reflected light off the dome of the sky. But I'm glad you did this. I think it's nice. I think it breaks the painting up. It really it really allows us to travel through the painting and appreciate all these different aspects and different areas. But yeah, it does feel a little bit separate at this point, in my
It's too
opinion.
front and center, but I like the idea too. I'm glad you brought it up. It made me realize that it needs, the majesty of the big shape is great, but it needs something to make you do a second look. And at the moment, it's a little too much a first look. That's what I think.
Right. Yeah. Here my eye goes here much faster. In your other version, it goes here. And that's fine. It just, you're telling me where you want me to go and where you want me to focus. And does anybody agree with that? Is like this amount of texture and detail, and then
Yes.
I think it's just a touch light. Yeah. I think it would be more fun if this was a touch hidden and we had to work a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Think
Hidden?
so.
Awesome. No, so good.
Beautiful.
I love working in this class. I love watching everybody else. I mean, now that I've seen Graham's sky, I'm going,
Yeah. Can't wait for the next color class. We're all going to be painting WWGD. What would Graham do?
He would hide.
All right, Judith, keeping with the figures and really interesting color combinations here. Ah, that's interesting. Tell us a little bit about this story, 'cause that seems like a Americana Gothic almost.
Well, it's actually in Italy, but so this is in Bellagio in Lake Como. It's my husband, and I just liked the shadows and the position, his stance there. So thought I would give it a try. I did get some feedback about darkening a little bit, and I did. This is not the last version. I did do that, and it really did help. It pushed
good.
things back a bit. yeah, so I made it darker around the leaf underneath the leaves, and so the in that area, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's an interesting framing device where you have like the tree basically splitting right above him, the arch coming right up, into him. So you've got these interesting kind of narrative, almost like you're using some tools from like icon painting, where you kind of put the figure fairly not center, but fairly center, and you're really kind of framing them in an interesting way. And the warm leaves coming up against the cool shoulder, going to the light, going to the dark. Like you've really created some interesting framing devices that are they're poetic and interesting, and yeah, very cool. And so yeah, it's interesting because your donkey painting that we were looking at last week,
Yeah,
right? And
right.
I feel like you learned a lot from this,
Yes,
where
I
how to
did.
kind of how to silhouette, how to frame, because
Uh-huh.
even I saw that you reworked it a little bit
Yep.
and kind of cooled that down, and see how those donkeys just come forward so much more and
Yeah.
create like a separation in the painting where it's not just red on red on red on red or auburn on auburn on auburn. And I
Yeah.
really feel like you internalized a lot of that coming into this painting.
Yeah. Yeah, I could really see how that popped the donkeys out and made them more prominent and almost three-dimensional to do that. Um, yeah, so tried to do that with the figure again.
That's fantastic. That's a lot of fun. Are you going to be able to join us in the next class at all, Judith?
Not this next one, but I will in the future. I've really
Okay.
gotten a lot out of this, and
Absolutely. No, I really feel like you have. That's why I was wondering. So I look forward to painting with you again, and I'm hoping that you'll continue to explore these ideas, because I think that I feel like you've grown a lot even in just a couple weeks, and
yeah,
it's been
me
really
too.
interesting and fun to see.
Me too. Thank you.
And I appreciate, again, I'm saying this to everybody, and I'm being very, very honest, that you guys are all being very brave. And it's not easy, and it makes being a teacher so much more fun when students are willing to go for it and try new things and experiment, because that is not always the case. And so I
Yeah, Michael,
even
that's one of the things that I really
We don't have
appreciate
internet at home.
about the class
We do
is
not have internet at home.
oops, give me 1 second. Okay, sorry. Gotcha,
uh,
Nyla.
I appreciate the experimentation. I agree that that's where the growth happens, and it's actually where the fun is too.
It is, yeah. And again, it's difficult when they may not be working, like we may be killing paintings, but I think both of your paintings are the better for it, which is
Yeah.
nice to say, but not always the case. Results are not guaranteed in the first couple efforts.
Right.
So yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Karen Russell. Is Karen here today?
Yep. I'm right
Where
here.
are you?
I'm
There you
here.
are. Yep, I see you. Okay, look at this. Nice contrast, big shapes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this has such a nice graphic quality to it.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful it is.
Yeah. As
Yeah,
somebody who loves to camp along lake fronts and stuff, or be in cabins, this really reminds me of either the morning or the evening, where it's just get that real beautiful contrast. And
yeah, the photo reference is underneath it. It's from the Alps.
oh wow, I kind of want to appreciate this just for a second before I see how
Absolutely.
it's supposed to look and change my mind.
Ah,
Just kidding.
no
Just
change.
kidding. No, it's really nice. Like, I mean, I think, there's definitely going to be information you could bring out in here a little more if you wanted to, but I actually like the graphic quality of it. And like, there's a couple things like the flat line of the clouds right up near the edge. That gets dangerous, especially when you throw a frame on here. It's going to be really close to this flat line. So, you might want to break that up, but it also kind of makes it interesting. You've got a variety of texture, like we were talking about with Gail's painting and Jada's painting. And, I really appreciate that. And that I think, especially when you're beginning with oils or any medium for that matter, it's always better to look for the big shapes and to kind of simplify where you can in the beginning, because we all get so bound up in detail that it can really make growth and moving forward with the big image really difficult. And I think you've done a great job with that. All right, let's go see your reference. Yeah, look how dark that is. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, it was really dark.
Yeah. Wow.
It reminds me of old Gothic stories where, this side of the lake is safe, but never go to the other side.
The Loch Ness monster lives over there.
Right, or the witches or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. I think this is a nice reference. The lineup here is not as straight, and it's definitely got softer transition. So if you're willing to revisit, that would be one of the areas I would fix. And this photo, and oftentimes photos, the shadow, especially if you have all this information and the lights of the clouds, will be very dark. And often I would suggest going in and either making up, you could pull out a little bit of the light that's here.
Right.
But I really kind of like the graphic quality that you captured in it. I also appreciate the fact that you brought in the texture into the foreground, because otherwise this area is kind of boring, and I would have maybe suggested that we cut off a lot of it. But by having that texture in those grasses, it brings interest and something to the foreground that gives us a better sense of depth and more space in your painting.
I love the patterning so much in her painting. I wish that I actually would love to not see the sand at all. I think that.
Yeah, well, let's take our hand up and edit
the
off.
reflection is so wonderful, and just if you don't need the beach. I feel like. I mean, I just like the pattern.
Perhaps just rather than having an edge there on the beach, just kind of blend it up so that there's not really a line.
You're talking about between the kind of whatever color this is.
The sand and the water, there's an actual line there. I think I would like it better without the line.
I wonder. Just trust the viewer to create that separation a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I made up.
And it's tough to know.
Made up that line, so I mean, the line's not in the photo.
Sure not. In fact, it's a reverse. It's actually the lighter area.
Right.
Yeah. A hill looking down. Is that kind of a hill or a dune going down to the lake then?
No, just a beach.
Just a beach.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about not drawing too much attention to the beach or maybe eliminating it. And I just think if that line wasn't there and it kind of just blended together a little bit more, you wouldn't notice the beach.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or I could make the water bigger,
Yeah, a little bit.
I was pretty happy with it. I thought, good enough, and I did some good color blending.
Yeah, no, I really, again, like it. It's funny because we were looking at a Manet painting earlier from Australia, and Manet has a lot of sketches that he did on his travels and times out there ignoring his family. And I always wonder if I like Manet. He seemed like a pretty lousy husband and father, but I think I'm thinking of the right artist. But he, a lot of his sketches had this kind of real kind of quick, just capturing the main elements. And he was not afraid of black, especially in some of his earlier, real dark darks. Even in
Yeah.
his like sun draped paintings where he's got people laying on on the grass and stuff, he would still have these real dark elements, which were really interesting for me to see in person. And yeah, it like I always, I even one of our classes, I talked a lot about that, about there's so much color and detail in the shadows
Mhm.
that a lot of us neglect. But sometimes it really works as a wonderful graphic element. So, everything I say, again, I even heard Cheryl say earlier that remembering all the rules, no rules. There's only guidelines and suggestions. Right. So, in this case, I kind of like the big black dark mass.
Yeah, I do too. And I don't mind the sand because I think it leads you back there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I don't
maybe make
necessarily
it,
mind it either. Yeah. And
make it lay
I would be
down.
curious to not have this line,
Yeah.
but it doesn't bother me either. And it kind of works. Like my eye skims along it so quickly that I'm
Yeah.
back here very quickly.
Exactly.
And you definitely have the focal area really pronounced just because you have your yellowest yellow, your darkest dark right beside each other. And they're in a great spot optically as far as, how to, where, it doesn't feel right in the center. It's not overly, you've got this counterbalance of this big dark mass and this light shape. Yeah, great job. And again, I'm just thinking of both you and who were we just looking at? Judith. At just how, you guys are, fairly new to this medium and experimenting and playing. And I'm impressed. I think you guys have both. I really do remember when I first started painting in oils and how just frustrating they were. And I remember my wife has my very first oil painting and she won't let me get rid of it. And it hurts me to see it because I remember the anguish that it was. Like, I remember how frustrating. And I remember like, I cannot wait to finish this so I never have to paint in oils again. And you guys have overcome a lot and you're learning in just the right way, I think, of picking subject matter that's approachable, that you can look for the big shapes, find the values and the temperature and the color and really just explore that. So great job.
Well, what's really interesting is I tried to do it in acrylic after, and I don't like it.
So
there.
Is that because you were more comfortable with it, or?
No, I think I like the way the oil blends, and anyway, we'll see. Now I've been experimenting with a paper palette and oil, and that makes it easier for me because then I don't have to clean my palette.
Right. And you know what else the paper palette does? Is it sucks some of the oil out of the paint, and it actually makes them a little less slippery and a little more controllable.
Huh.
Yeah, I remember Eric Jacobson I was talking about. There's times when he would lay his paint out on a piece of cheap cardboard and let it sit for a little bit, and it would suck up some of that oil. And he really liked like the density of the oil at that stage. He didn't do it all the time. And sometimes he actually added a little bit of medium, I believe. But I thought that was really interesting because I always just paint with them kind of in the same consistency. So very cool. All right, Linda Morgan O'Connor.
That's beautiful, Linda.
Yeah, it's really neat.
So nice.
Yes.
It was so interesting to see your exploded marshmallow. Yeah, that really changed. It's so dreamy.
Yes. So
Yeah,
beautiful.
I'm fighting with it though. I mean, I fought with it all week, and I listed my excuses on the right just so I'm
covering all your bases.
Yeah. So we're getting a larger size and having to deal with more white. I don't usually do that much pastel color. If I do, it's limited. And I don't know why I have a big tube of quick dry white. Why didn't I think of doing that? But no, I didn't. So I just wound up, time-wise, it was just a time thing and then I changed. I felt I wanted to really start out I do this every so often. I admire real soft impressionism so much that I wish I could do that, like almost an abstract.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at those paintings that people can do that are really abstract, I just wish I could do it, and I keep trying and I keep failing. And I just have to at some point come to terms with the fact that I can't paint that way. It's
But
like
the
I'm not.
other thing is, I think you can. Like, look at this passage back
Yeah, that's
here.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I think
Thank
you're
you.
wrong. I'm gonna push back on you. I'm not gonna say you can't do it. You just haven't done it to your expectations yet. But
Right.
that's part of experimentation and growth. I absolutely, like, my favorite parts of this painting are right here,
Yeah.
the soft diffuse area back here, and even this weird nondescript floaty tree is so dreamy and beautiful. And you're letting me do a lot of the work. Like, you trust that I understand that it's gonna hit the ground eventually. Excuse me. I've
And
got
this
a
is
ginger
not.
candy in my mouth, and I think I swallowed it. Yeah, there's a couple areas that I think could help hold it together. Other areas that I love before we do. This is gorgeous.
Yes.
It is. The reflections are beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Areas that I don't love, this tree trunk, this branch
Yeah.
right here,
Yeah.
it becomes the focal point very quickly. Like, initially when I look over here, I'm in this spot, but very quickly I come here, and this little club of a branch.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was,
Because everything is so subtle and nondescript.
So I
it's
just need
too
to
bright.
soften that, basically soften it.
Yeah, I would take
Okay.
a Q-tip to that or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
My
some of
best
your
friend.
hardest edges are right here,
Yeah, right at the edge. Mhm.
and they're so unnecessary. I would just
Yeah.
soften this.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I would soften this so much that it almost, like, you lose the line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. That's easy enough.
Because right now, okay, let's just go away from it and let's just see. I almost want to have one of you guys narrate our visual experience of it. So let's go back to the exploded marshmallow, which is beautiful and interesting and so filled with possibilities.
Right.
So I had no idea where you were going to go with this.
Well, I didn't, apparently I didn't either.
Yeah. Does anybody want to walk me through this for me, or should I do it?
Go ahead.
Who's
You
brave
do.
enough? All
Yeah.
right. So when I pop this open, instantly I go to this area and to this tree.
Mhm.
And I want to hang out here for a little bit, but very quickly I get pulled to this stupid branch.
Yeah.
Not fast.
And then I want to appreciate this, but I don't. I jump up to here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So the path that I think you want my eye to take is being separated. So that's probably what's one of the hardest things for you in painting a big, diffuse, soft-edged impressionist painting, because again, so gorgeous, is that you've got to think about all of it.
Yeah. Yep.
And how do I keep the viewer here, especially which is really hard, because we're attracted to edges and we're attracted to contrast as a viewer. So if your focal area has very little of that, at least I do. I'm not, that's why I wanted to have somebody else narrate this to see
Can
if
you flip it
guys are
upside
seeing it
down?
differently.
Because the darkness of the shadows in the bottom are so much darker than the sky above. Maybe if the sky above were a little
Yeah.
darker.
And I'm still working on that, honestly. This is
Well, maybe that tree wouldn't look so hard against a darker sky.
There has to be more on the left, middle left. There has to be more pinkish orange further left in the reflection of the water. I know that just looking at it. That's got to be, if it's going to reflect the sky, granted, water's going to be darker, right? The darks can be lighter, light's going to be darker, right?
Yep.
That's the rule. But that needs work. That definitely needs work. Adjustment, let's say, adjustment. So
There's so much goodness in this.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That it's 100% worth revisiting.
Yeah.
Like these are beautiful sky holes and these are nice tree shapes.
Yeah.
But they're fighting with this.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely. And
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it's so fun to like,
Yeah.
again, I think of you and Gail as painting somewhat similarly, less similarly. And it's fun to see like you guys just one went one direction and the other one went the opposite direction this week.
Yeah.
One went softer than ever,
Bipolar
and the other
twins.
went palette knife and paint and color. And but this is actually quite colorful as well. So
Mhm.
I think that, you know, I can't wait to see what you do with another hour or two of work on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Oh, another day or two, maybe from my
Yeah.
speed, but
Oh,
or three.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
And
Let's
the next
have
time
some
we see it,
direction.
it'll be
Good.
2 weeks, and yeah, we won't even. It'll feel like an hour to us. But I wouldn't give up on your ideas of doing soft pastoral impressionist
Mhm.
paintings, because I think you've got so much. I just think that you're being a little tough on yourself, expecting you to do it right away.
Yeah.
Um,
And maybe the what I do is just incorporate it somewhat into the paintings that I'm doing, because I do love that central area too. Yeah, I love it. I love how that
yeah,
came out.
very
But
good. And you said this was pretty big, right? This is
it's 20 by
24.
20 it's a cradle panel 20 by 20,
Great.
which
So
is
that's a nice size.
big
Like
for me.
it has enough. We can see it behind your head there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It will, it's enough to have an impact.
Mhm.
Statement.
You know? Yeah, lovely.
yes, so beautiful.
And Meredith here today? Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, Meredith, I don't see you, and I haven't heard your sing-song voice yet today, so we're just going to talk about you behind your back real quickly. So hopefully you get a chance to watch this recording.
I love the color in the water,
Me
It's
too.
beautiful.
all the different colors, and
Mhm.
it does not go together with the rules that Thomas Kitts teaches regarding water.
Oh yeah, what are those rules?
Well, it doesn't involve all that color in there, and the color in there looks wonderful.
Yeah, it makes it move.
Yes.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of optical mixing or broken color. So in the
Mhm.
water, he's using a yellow ochre underneath, kind of a warm gold, and then in the sky using pinks, and it gets towards the yellow ochre at the top, pinks and purples as the undercolor. So that's a really interesting, and I think that's why it does feel a little bit separate of each other, but it also feels like it's not the most sunny of days. You know, it's almost like Gail's painting too, where it has kind of a spotlight effect.
Mhm.
Like the light is striking here and then kind of picking back up in here a little bit. I really like, I mean, again, let's cover the bottom, cover the water. So you're just looking at the top, and it's, you know, very Monet, right? It has the cool, like, that looks like it could be the reflection, you know, if you flipped it upside down, of his water lilies,
I was
and a
gonna
lot of
say,
those beautiful colors.
the water is very impressionistic. That it looks like a Renoir water.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The background is
then-
beautiful too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, I love it, and it feels like motion, right? Like you
Yes,
feel
it
the
does.
water coming across these rocks in a very energetic fashion.
Yes.
Yeah, this is lovely. I wish Meredith was here so we could hear a little bit more about it, and hopefully Meredith will join us in the next class. I'm not sure. I'm not positive who's signed up yet, but it's been fun having a pastelist interpret a lot of these ideas. And truthfully, pastels, besides you don't really mix the colors as much, but you know, pastelists come to it with a whole box of rocks, right? A whole
Mhm.
100 different colors, possibly depending on the set they're using. And I think that Meredith, we talked about this last week too, and some of the other pieces, has a very good sense of harmony in their colors, even like something like this that is so dramatic and has such a strong contrast of warm and cools. But I think Meredith has a really good sense of color.
Mhm.
So
Beautiful.
it's been fun to watch. All right, Nyla. So we all praised Nyla's little painting, and I tricked Nyla into painting a big version of it. even though they only had a couple hours this week. And I think I suggested, possibly bringing in some cools into the shadows. And Nyla went ahead and did a bigger version of it. And beautiful colors. Love the variety of warms and cools, but something has definitely been lost.
Right.
And it feels
It's not cohesive.
it's not cohesive, and it feels a little forced and a little bit cartoony.
Mm-hmm.
Where the other one had a harmony to it and a subtlety in it that I think you are overplaying and over describing in some areas.
I felt the same way. That's why I said I don't like that one, and I'm going to try to come up with something that is much looser and maybe more together.
And I think you can revisit this. I think you can just, let it dry. And then let's just attack it again with a bigger brush. Don't worry about every little leaf again. And get in here and look at your big shapes. A couple things really quickly is this tree trunk is wider at the top than it is at the bottom. So it's getting bigger as it goes up. This one does the same thing. Is right here is that it gets really wide. So the trees are feeling a little bit off to me.
Yeah.
So, I think we need to get their shape back a little bit. The other thing that I'm seeing, and what happens, which is funny, is when we want to save time sometimes, we just start using our stamp tool / paintbrush. And I know you're capable of painting shapes versus things. But what happens is when we get a little panicked or a little nervous, and I do the same thing. Most everything I tell you guys that I see in your paintings are things I see in my own paintings, is that all of a sudden you are using your paintbrush as a stamp tool. Like this equals a leaf. So leaf, 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 leaf. This equals this. So like right here, you got this real repetition, almost stripy going on. You've got that in a couple different areas. And what it does is it hurts the organicness of it. It kind of hurts the spontaneity and the naturalness of it. So I'm not going to say it's good or bad, but I think you are falling back into some of your old tricks.
That is definitely the way I felt about it too. I thought I am tightening up. I'm doing, I'm overkilling this. And
Not going to get any better.
like I said, I was not happy with it at all. And so now I'm trying to do one that is going to be much looser.
Yeah. And again, you can revisit this. You can block in some of these areas and, because I think you said this is like a 16 by 20.
It is.
So you're actually, again, it's weird when it's kind of seemingly highly detailed, but actually coming across it with a big brush and just looking for shapes. No more grass, 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 leaf, leaf, leaf. You're looking for the big shapes. Use your big brush for as long as you can, and then come through and break it up with the small brush where you want it specifically.
Nyla, are you used to painting on this size canvas?
Yes. In fact, when I first started painting, it's the only size I used. And then because we were doing so many different things, I just downsized to the 11 by 14. So I've gotten used to that now. And even smaller.
Yeah, there's a lot that I like. I really do love all the colors that you're finding and stuff. And I feel like I'm being really mean to you right now, Nyla, because it is beautiful. Like when you squint your eyes and you can really see its potential.
Yes.
Right. By squinting my eyes, the shadows begin to merge, the lights merge, and I lose a lot of the overly described elements in it. So I would suggest revisiting it and not trying to protect anything, but basically repainting it right over the top. Again, let it dry. You may have to come back in with some lights and kind of carve out your tree shapes and everything else. But there's a lot good here, and I think the bones are good. I think it's just a matter of trusting yourself, trusting your paint, trusting your big brush, and watch how you're holding that paintbrush too. I literally, when I picture you painting this, I see you choked up on a little brush, holding towards the front of it and being a little bit protective.
I started off with a real big brush, and then I got down to the little bitty brushes, even though I was not going to use a little bitty brush. And that's when I started thinking, I have messed this thing up big time.
I did the same on mine. That's why I'm going to have to glaze over it, because I also got obsessed with all the tiny little flowers.
Yeah, I always say little brushes are addictive. Once I pick up that little brush, it is really hard to put it back down.
Yep. Well, that's why I wondered about if she's used to painting at this size, because it just feels like the marks that she's making would be kind of more abstract on a smaller canvas. They would blend together differently and everything. And so in moving up and not using a larger brush, then you kind of lose that ability to just let things blend a little bit.
I really like the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of areas that I really like. And again, I think the colors are pretty spot on. It's almost just becomes down to texture and brushwork, which we all know Nyla can do. And so everything I say to you guys, everything I say, whenever I'm being less than super nice, is things that I've had to fight or continue to fight in my own work. And I think that detail is addictive. Little brushes are addictive, and it's funny. Again, we think of it as being like the finishing thing, but if you pick it up at the wrong time, all of a sudden you're finishing a painting with a little brush and midway through. So yeah, I appreciate it. One other thing would be this round shape right here. Really wants to draw my eye because it's kind of in a focal point, right? I'm drawn to it. So that round shape feels out of place, a little inorganic. I think this is definitely worth visiting again. And I think you did what I asked, what I was saying about bringing in interesting and beautiful colors into the shadows as well as the lights. So yeah, I think this is definitely worth revisiting, and hopefully I wasn't too mean to you.
No, you're never mean, Michael, my stars. You want us to do what we ought to be doing and what you feel like we can. And we all appreciate that.
True.
Yeah.
All right.
So you don't have to worry about us feeling like you're being mean. As a former teacher, I know what it's like when you know that a kid can do something and you're trying to get them to move that direction.
Right.
And
just some of these kids are so stubborn, Nyla. Keep falling back into their old bad habits.
Yeah, I think I'm your most stubborn student.
Sometimes.
Well, I think you should just cut out the bottom corner.
There you go.
And it would make, just with all that color and things, maybe a little more than a quarter, about halfway down, but maybe out a little bit to the left, more than halfway. And I think that would make a really cool looking painting.
Well, it's almost like Michael's wife says, 2 paintings.
A bit, yeah.
Or maybe more.
I would say 2 paintings, and I feel like you tried to jump to the end a little prematurely, to the detail, and I think you could have built it up a little more. And again, that's why you can go back. And I mean, with recreating your color. Anyways, yeah. feel free to, move on to your next painting, or to, spend an hour or two and just really attack this thing. Maybe it's your chance to use Gail's palette knife and get in there and just look for shape. I want you to look shape first and then your colors, and not detail. Please stay away from detail as long as possible. And when you get to your detail, as little as possible to help tell your story.
Okay.
Okay, mine Jay. So yes, this
Dancing
is
trees.
lovely, but we're gonna have to talk about your warm shadows. Oops, I had a very hard time hearing you.
Oh, really, eh? There's something with my microphone that doesn't work all that well. I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, this is good.
And now we can hear you. I think you just need to be a little closer to it.
Okay. I will crawl into my laptop. I found it I really tried very hard to do I never done the cool light and the warm shades. And that's what I tried here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a great experiment and it's super easily fixable. So what happened is you just took my words a little too literally. And these shadows are too warm. It actually feels like dirt under the grass that just happens to mimic the shape of the trees. It's just too warm. So come back in and just slightly darken, slightly cool those. You can even leave some of the warm areas showing through, but right now it's just too much warmth. And as soon as you take, however you want to cool that down, whether it's just ultramarine blue, glaze over the top, or Payne's gray, or, a darker green. So that, again, I was saying that it's one of the hardest things for me to convey when I say cool, light, warm shadows. It doesn't mean they're hot. It doesn't mean, you're not casting red over green. That wouldn't even work, right? Or red shadows over a green would make another color. So I understand your idea completely, and there's no reason that this can't be a perfect underpainting it's going to be a super simple, easy fix for you.
Okay.
Just come in and go a little bit more by instinct. It's just warmer shadows. I guess I got to start saying that there's a little more warmth in them, but they're never warm. Like we've never been out on a cloudy day and seen red shadows or auburn shadows being cast.
I've been trying very hard to see them, but I could not. So yeah.
No, yeah. Like you did a good job under the underside of these bushes and trees. Like that bit of warmth is great, but this is too warm. So yeah, just come in, glaze that, or mix a color that you want it to be. So it's gotta be a bit of Mike's bad information and bad teaching plus your instinct and actual innate knowledge mixed. I'm guessing when you painted these shadows, you're just like, what was Mike even talking about? This doesn't even make sense.
No. Yeah. I was. I found it very, very difficult.
Yeah, so no problem. All you're going to have to do is go back and kind of darken these or cool them down, or however you decide to approach these shadows, no problem. Just kind of give them a darker, cooler color.
Yeah.
And they'll read no problem. And luckily we got Graham's painting as kind of an example as well of the cool, light, warm shadows. And you saw that his warm, shadowy areas were very subtle.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was very impressed with that painting.
Yeah. So yeah, you're in a good space. The rest of the painting, again, if I just cover those weird red shadows up, it's a great painting. Like it's really nice. The detail in your branches are beautiful. They look very naturalistic, and I love the flow and the movement and the warmth where the sun is poking through these clouds, very diffused light. It's really nice. Great clouds.
Yeah, great clouds.
So this painting, you'll be able to fix that in 20, 30 minutes. As soon as you figure out what kind of color you want down there, it'll be great.
Let it dry, I think, or let it totally set before I start to get in there, right?
It's up to you. Yeah, I mean, either way, you can use some of that warmth if it's still kind of wet and just kind of mix some of that, and some of that warmer light can come towards us a little bit, a little darker, a little more cool as it gets towards the base right under there. So, yeah, you can do it either way. You can let it dry, or I'm sure, because you painted this, what, 2 days ago?
Yeah, that's yesterday I finished up.
So I bet you it's tacky enough that you can bring in paint as long as you put it over lightly.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything to add to this? Yeah. Love the black and white or the grays in the background.
Love the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So nice.
I love the dancing feeling.
I love the trees. They are so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're so intimidating, bare trees with a lot of branches and a lot of movement. Yeah. Good job.
It was a difficult one, but thank you.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right. So Phyllis, you said photo reference here. That's cool. I've never seen this painting before.
That's really cool.
It's
Yeah,
actually out of an ad. See where it says send a gift? It was an ad, and we were studying the cools and warms, and it just really caught my eye. I knew I would take the man out right away, and then I don't want to take him in there, but then I decided what I would like to see is the finished product is just one horse, the horse on the right. Not ready to put it in yet. And I'm probably going to trash my painting.
Yeah,
It's
well,
start over. And you'll know why the minute you look at it. So,
okay.
but that's the photo.
Okay, great. But yeah, I love, and again, we were talking about the still kind of cool, and you can see the warms in here, but also very cool because it is actually a warm light on a cool snowy day.
Right.
But you can see like the transparency of the branches and stuff picking up some of the warmth. And yeah, this is really nice. And I love that the shadows are very transparent, right? They're not dark. It's a diffuse light. I'm actually a little surprised the shadows are so crisp, but it really works in this. And I love the depth and everything else. And then we're just talking about with Mind Jay's painting about these fine edges. And so what I really like too is the trees are dense here. And then as they go out and get spindlier and spindlier and spindlier, they're not dark at all, right? They get lighter as they get thinner as well.
Yeah.
So letting that paint, dissipate and get lighter as it goes away from the trunk.
Right. And that's exactly what I blew when I painted it. You'll see. Just keep going. See, that tree on the right needs to go in the trash. And actually, this is more orange than it really is in real life. It's just right near the window, and it was a lot of sunlight coming in. It's more
Gotcha. Yeah.
pink. It really is the same pink orange as the photo reference. But yeah, the tree on the right ruined it. It's why it's going to be a dead baby soon.
Uh-oh, I've created monsters.
I could almost tolerate
horrible
one
saying.
on the left, but the tree on the right is just a goner. It needs to be.
No, but let's talk about the good parts here. So I do love your warm and cool and what you're playing at there. I loved your soft edges back here and these beautiful grays. You are going to have to be careful with these spindly branches because like look how dense this branch is. So there are times that having a little brush is kind of your only way out, or a really nice flat that you can turn on its side and really have a light touch to it. I think that this was very valid in that you're learning a lot about these transitions between the warms and the cools and soft edges, and that this one's definitely worth revisiting. I'm wondering if we can't even simplify it more. And, I would almost just focus even on this background area and get rid of some of this foreground here, just as you're experimenting and kind of figuring out the colors. And, look at these subtle transitions here of grays, pinks, yellows, and again, they're subtle. very subtle colors. So I should be saying yellowish, pinkish, bluish colors, all taken to a gray.
Right.
Um,
Really
this
like
is-
that about it too when I saw
yeah,
it.
yeah, it's gorgeous. So I would take kind of what you're doing is taking the elements that you're liking, the colors and the transitions, and really just kind of focusing on that. I wouldn't try to copy this painting too much, especially since you're changing it so completely. You know, you're taking out the figure, you're taking out the horses. So I would look to see how can I simplify it even more. And then we got to talk about your perspective a little bit. Is this fence is actually coming off much higher? It's not such an angle. This angle is really, especially at the angle you photograph the painting, really makes it difficult to see. But it feels like we're going up a steep hill versus walking kind of on a flatter, or I think in this case, it's even going, very flat. You see how that feels flat versus?
Yeah, I think that is the angle that I took the picture.
Oh, it could be, yeah.
It like a hill when I'm looking at the painting. I don't think.
Yeah.
But totally fixated on the horror of the tree on the right, so I can't see anything else.
No, they are tough. Bare trees are, boy, oh boy. Yeah. I'm almost not even brave enough to paint them in oils. I paint them in acrylics because I can, just load up a watercolor brush and just
then you would let the
what are those
oil
called? The ones that look like pencil tips.
Yeah. But you would let the oil dry completely then before you put that
sometimes, but you can see again what I was talking about the you can see how they dissipate, like it gets darker as it comes down and then not only gets thinner, but the brush, the branch gets very light.
Right. I love that.
I keep telling you guys to turn that upside down and let your brush just kind of peter out on the end. That's what it does.
Yeah. And Cheryl's right. What you do is you're pushing a little bit harder and then you're lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting. And, if you're using a broader brush, you're going to turn it to its edge where it gets less and less and less. And if you're using a beat up brush at all, or an old, filbert brush or anything, it's nearly impossible to paint fine lines. Like
something with a tiny tip on it.
Yeah, or an edge, a corner of the brush, and you really you're going to want to probably experiment on a surface on the side, so you're not doing all these brush strokes experimentally on there. I mean, we could ask Mange, how did you do these tiny little fine branches?
That was so much fun. I had one of those brushes with very thin and long bristle, and
like a liner brush.
Liner, yeah. And I started at the base, and then I slowly lifted it, and that was in one of my first classes with you. I had a big problem doing that because I just did a whole bunch on a piece of board to practice before I put it on the canvas.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So they're all, again, we're, Phyllis, we were just talking about with all of our paintings that they're all experiments towards the next one. So if you're willing to revisit this, or even just focusing in on an area, like if you just said, I just want to paint this passage or this passage, or just the top third, paint it horizontally, or I just want to paint the bottom, it's going to be easier. This is a lot, even though it looks soft and open and airy, there's a lot to learn. If this is the first time you painted anything like this, that's a lot. So I would experiment on, I'm still working on just this kind of atmosphere in my paintings. And then, there may be a time where I let the painting dry, or I let it tack up or whatever and pull this across. Or maybe I would do it as an acrylic underpainting, or lots of different ways I may approach this painting. But
if you're going to trash that painting, then you could practice some branches on top of the one that you feel like you screwed up. That
Right.
you
Yeah.
take a different color and just play on top of that.
Right. And then here's another technique I will do for branches. And I know that Linda Morgan O'Connor does the same thing, or has in the past, is actually coming back and using the negative shapes like you're doing sky holes, but you take the, the gray that you're using back here, and you just come in and you create the negative shapes, and you can refine by doing the negative of it. So you take your sky color and come back in and carve. And then I find it sometimes easier to make these little fine lines, because I actually carve them out by just taking the sky color up against that dark and just kind of covering half of it or a third of it or whatever. So you can use paint to carve. It doesn't have to be, dark to light and then full stop. It is, you can go dark to light and then go back to your darks, and then you can go back to your lights, and you're just thinking carving and making shapes.
Yeah.
And you start with your big shapes oftentimes, and then you refine down to your finer and finer shapes. And go ahead.
I did fix the club-like appearances of that tree, but it still didn't help all that much.
And did you do it by painting the sky color and coming back in and carving it out, or?
I did a few sky holes, and then I tried to go back to the color that was in the sky, but I just need to start that over, I think. I don't know if I can salvage that tree at all. I think it's gonna just be chopped down.
Yeah, that's no problem. I mean, that's again, beautiful colors. I love the transitions down in here. And I just think that it's a deceptively complex reference with those subtle transitions. So great job. It's a real challenge, really is. And good choice in the warms and cools and the subtlety. So yeah, I would love to see you, revisit this, or however you decide to approach it. And don't worry about, copying the original, which seems like you're already not worried about that too much. So yeah.
Okay.
And I can already tell you're learning just by doing it. All right.
That one's just the challenge you gave us one week. Do it in under 30 minutes.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
It's just under 30 minutes, and then I walked away. So done.
I love the real harmonized colors. So what was your color palette here?
That might have been the week we were only supposed to work with 2 colors, I think. What was that week?
That palette would work with the painting above that you're
struggling with. It almost is the same colors. Yeah.
I think we were only supposed to work with 2 colors that week.
Yeah, it looks like you probably used a burnt umber and an ultramarine blue and white.
Right. It definitely would have been ultramarine blue. I think maybe, the burnt umber. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, which does a lot of nice things. Beautiful harmony to this. It might be the angle a little bit, but it does look like your horizon line is not very flat. That will help this not feel like you're kind of on a hill. But beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
30 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's great. I like it.
Okay.
Good impressionistic feel to it. All right. And Regini.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Sky. Yeah. All right. Regini's back. She got over her silly impression or tonalist phase. Just kidding. No, it's lovely. It really does look like the sky is on fire. Like this is the kind of sky when you're driving, you have to pull the car over. Right.
Yep.
All right. Tell us a little bit about this, Regini.
This was the photo which Eloise took, but the land was different there. And I tried to do like that, but somehow I couldn't, and I changed it. But I feel in that process, I kind of ruined little bit sky.
And why what do you think you ruined? Because we don't know what it's supposed to look like, so it looks great to us.
I never wanted to make such a big, large orange and yellow glow.
Okay.
And then I used this Galkit gel, which was very difficult to move the paint.
that was my mistake.
So the Galkid gel should make the paint slipperier.
Yeah, but then it became very like a plasticky.
Oh,
It
yeah, as
became
soon as
very,
it starts to tack up, yeah.
yeah.
I find
So
it gets sticky too.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like painting with honey very quickly.
yeah. So I thought I ruined it, but I somehow tried to do something, but I don't know it.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I was making a joke about it looking like a fire, and the more I look at it, it truly looks like a fire.
Yeah, it does, but it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. The colors are nice. I think it may be worth, after it tacks up or dries a little bit, about possibly reshaping this or doing something. Because I mean, it really feels like, again, if I cover those clouds, it feels like the hills just got a fire going on. And I think it's the shape as much as anything.
That shape I didn't like. I don't know how should I recover it? Like what
I
should
think you could just cover it with, come back in and paint more blue or whatever. I also think maybe your transition's a little too fast, that you get to a real blue real quickly in some areas. So you've lost your gradient. You've lost that transition.
Yeah.
That this blue comes down here, but then it kind of disappears in the middle. So I'm wondering if just kind of having a slightly better transition, which again, you can do very easily once this is kind of dried, or you could take a palette knife and kind of wipe away any of the excess paint and then just revisit this. I think, yeah, I mean, I love the dynamic nature of it. And truthfully, if you're just like, oh, that's what I wanted, I'd be like, all right, that's pretty cool, actually. I mean, I love the swirls and the brush stroke and the motion and everything else. I really like your foreground and the silhouetted, heat behind these trees, that backlit. And then the cool here, you could warm up this hill a little bit towards the sky a little bit. But I love the cool transitions over here.
So do you think I should use a little bit gray color after that orange?
In the sky or in the hills?
In the sky.
Yeah, whatever color it is, it probably just needs to be slightly warmer than this.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, these spots of blue, I think, are just a little extreme for how low. Like they feel like the same blue. The other thing is you've got a lineup of clouds right here, these three.
Yeah.
So I would bring one of them probably further or do something. I think maybe even just having this one come up quite a ways, so that it's not such a interesting break. Lovely colors down in here. I love these gray greens that you're getting. You're really getting good at that kind of browny green, and the auburns. You've got that in a number of your paintings recently really nicely. And I always like that color combination personally. And then you go up to the bluey grays. Yeah, I think it's just in this area. Then maybe if it depends on how you want the sky to feel. Does it bother you guys at all that it looks like literally like flames? Or do you guys kind of like it? Because I kind of go back and forth with it.
I like it.
Oh.
And then, I don't know if just this lineup of clouds here bothers anybody else, but just breaking that up, or maybe even not having such a crisp, you could have a little softer cloud edges, because you got really nice soft edges up here. A lot of times the bottoms of my clouds will be a little crisper, and then the tops, I get a little more airy and a little more diffused. Might help too, because some of these sky hole areas feel real crisp.
Oh, okay.
Is the line, the blue line behind the trees, is that a line of clouds, or is that hills in the distance?
It is but they are hills in the distance.
Okay. Because that's how they read.
Yeah.
Do you think it should be a little bit lighter, or?
No,
I just wanted to be sure that that wasn't sky.
Yeah, I think the ridge here can be a little warmer. have a little better transition. Then you could actually get probably a little cooler. Like this one feels a little better. This one, even though I like that transition, I think it could be a little darker.
Okay.
Yeah, and in the middle there, where your sun is the brightest, you might want to lighten that up.
Uh-huh.
The mountain behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was
Burn
gonna
it
say.
out a little bit.
Yeah, soften that edge.
Yeah.
Because that, your eye could not see that. You couldn't focus here if this is that hot and that bright. Our eye will make that a diffuse
That
line.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't focus towards the sun very well with a hard edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're off to an amazing start. I think you're 70% done. I think a couple subtle shifts. Look for where you have unnecessary hard edges. Look
Okay.
at repetition of form.
Mhm.
Yeah, if everybody else is cool with the fire, I'm cool with the fire. I would just look at my gradient and my sky a little bit more.
Yeah, the left side is really pretty with all the purples in there.
Okay.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
works a lot better for me.
Uh-huh.
I would look to this side and do something similar over here.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
really think it's that cold dash right there.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you made that the purpley like it is on the other side. That would take care of it.
Okay.
It's really pretty, Regini. I always
Okay.
love your skies.
Wow. Thank you, Gail. You're too kind.
No, yeah,
Oh,
you're very
they're pretty.
close. This is definitely worth revisiting, and yeah. And I really like that you didn't overwork your foreground. You're just kind of hinting at, you're letting us know that these little bit of texture is some grass. You've got a little bit of kind of a road or something. I was thinking like, oh, it'd be nice if it went more towards the center, but then it'd be really obvious, like everything's going right towards this point.
Mhm.
I kind of like that it wraps around the side there.
Yeah. Do you think I should put sun with white color in that yellow, little bit lighter yellow?
I don't know. I was thinking that, and I was wondering if anybody was going to mention that.
Do it again.
It's easy to put it in and test it and then take it back out or soften it a lot. If you do, I would probably even make a hotter edge of the trees right near it.
Okay.
She's wondering if she should put even a lighter sun wherever that, but it could be almost below the horizon by this point.
I wouldn't put a lighter sun.
Yeah, it's pretty light. Again, squint your
I
eyes
think
and
that'd
you
be pretty
almost make
distracting.
one. Your
Yeah.
brain almost makes one right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys, that's the lesson for today. Squint your eyes at your reference, at your wherever you're looking at, and then squint your eyes at your painting. And just really try to simplify as much as possible. Keep your shapes as big and as possible for as long as possible. Don't overdo detail until you're ready for it. Save that detail. And then, step back. I know Regini likes to sit when she paints. Got to get up and walk away every once in a while.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
it from a distance. I think this is something you would have seen very quickly from a distance.
Yeah.
Also, this repetition of form 1, 2, 3, all very similar.
Mhm.
I think you would have seen that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of hard edges in there too.
Yeah.
Yes,
These hard
that is
edges.
where that Galkid gel, it made it so plasticky. I just couldn't move the color and change it.
Right. Yeah. So when I use Galkid gel, especially lately, I've been using the Galkid medium a lot on these bigger paintings. I'm mixing them 50% with my Gamsol.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
I added little
and I
Gamsol.
barely add any. I'm just dipping not even the tip of the brush, but the corner of the tip of the brush.
Mm.
A little bit into your paint goes a long ways.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
Why use the Galkid unless you're in a hurry for things to dry?
It also makes the paint go a little slipperier, and
Because
it covers
Yeah.
bigger areas.
Linseed oil does
I was
that.
going to say linseed oil or glazing medium would do the same thing.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly
Maybe.
right. Yeah. Galkid, or what am I using? Oh, I'm using Neo McGilp right now, but that's just because I have a big bottle of it I've never used. But any of those mediums, just know that, yes, some will speed up the drying.
Neo McGlip doesn't dry as fast, though. It has a
No, it
nice,
doesn't. It's a slow
it
dryer.
lets
Yeah.
you ease out, which is what she would like to do in those clouds, I think.
But yeah, if you're not in a hurry, Regini, a drop of linseed oil. Let me see here. I have, so I steal these little jars, when my wife or daughter are done with them. And I just put my oil in that, and I literally will just drop one drop of oil onto a pile of paint, mix it in, or even just on the side. And you just barely want any. The more oil you add, the slower your paint is going to dry, but you can really move it and really fan it out. And yeah. So I like Galkid gel, especially when I'm traveling and different things like that. But you don't need much of any of the mediums.
Yeah, I should try with linseed oil next time.
Great.
Thank
All right,
you.
gang. Well, look at us. We just finished right at 12:30 here, which means we've kind of run out of time for a demo again. So that's 2 weeks in a row. So
I think that
kind
was
of
pretty
apologize.
sneaky. That was a pretty sneaky maneuver on your part.
Yeah, well, I blame it on you guys and your beautiful paintings. But here's the deal. How about we take a little break, and anybody that wants to come back, because I'm going to be painting on that thing anyways. I need to charge my iPhone that's been running this whole time. It's already telling me it's going to die. So let's just come back around. I haven't eaten anything besides an apple slice today. So if I can take a little break, go check on my wife, go check on my dog. Let's say 12 or 1 or right around 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And I'm happy to keep painting because I was going to paint on that anyways today because I'd love to get this crazy
Michael,
guy done.
Would you please record it? I have to leave at 1. So can you do when you're painting, please record it?
Yeah, good idea. Thank you, darling.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Well, let's praise each other, and let me thank you guys for your showing up so often. And truly, I've said the word brave 100 times, and Darlene Crow, I even named you the brave. Sorry, I didn't rename everybody this morning. It kind of, but anyways, you guys are fantastic. I really, really do appreciate you guys just coming to this class with an open mind, open heart, and trying lots of different things and being willing to fall flat on our face while we're trying new things. You're going to grow, you're going to learn, and it doesn't always feel like it. And I know it's frustrating and that never changes. It never goes away. If you just say, well, if I take Mike's class for enough years, I will stop making bad paintings. Well, I've got news for you. In fact, you might make more bad paintings because I'll challenge you harder and harder. And that's, in growth comes that unfortunate side effect of not always making beautiful or up to our high standards. But that's the other thing that's going to happen is my goal as a painter is to look back every couple of years and go, oh, I can't believe I painted that. Like hope to just keep improving and keep raising my own standards. And that's what we should all aim for. And paintings, that's the wonderful and horrific thing about painting and art in general, is that we just get better, and you don't know what you don't know. You will see everything differently. And so it's a pursuit unto itself. It is one of those true things where it's not the end, it's the journey. I'm saying every bumper sticker I've seen lately. And but it's very true. And so I really respect you guys being willing to take these big jumps and big leaps and try new things. And I had a blast. I will see some of you this afternoon. I will see others of you tomorrow. If you can join us on Thursday. I'll be in and out on tomorrow as always, but it's about you guys, not about me on Thursdays. Wednesdays is all about me. I would love to have as many of you guys as are capable joining us next semester. We have one new student that I've not met. Otherwise, I'd love keep this gang together if you're capable and have the time. Otherwise,
And it's
stay in
next Wednesday,
contact.
It's next week right away, right?
Starts right away next Wednesday. Yeah. No rest for the wicked. You get 1 week off from doing homework. Except for 90% of you that I told you to work on your painting more. All right, gang. Well, I'll
so
see
much,
some of
Michael.
you in about 30
Brilliant.
minutes. I'm sorry, Beverly.
Thank you so much. It's been absolutely wonderful. It really has. You're a complete star.
You're too sweet. All right, gang. Well, I'll see some of you in 30 minutes. See some of you tomorrow, and hopefully a lot of you next week.
Okie doke. We'll
Great.
see you then.
Thank
Okay,
you.
everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Oh, and if I'm not back, I've got to double check and make sure there's not another class.
Do we have to click off or do we just stay where we
Yeah,
are?
I will. Yeah, we're going to sign back in using the same link.
Okay.
And I will send everybody an email because I'll check really quickly just to make sure there's not another class during that time that's using
Okay.
Zoom. Actually, hang on. Give me 1 second, I can do it while we're here. Let me just stop the recording.